FM Florissant. From the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Some allies are upset. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Germany's chancellor says President Trump's planned auto tariffs are the wrong decision. The EU considering next steps, and Canada's cabinet is meeting. But the United Auto Workers president, Sean Fain, says his union applauds the president for stepping up to end what he calls the free trade disaster.
The UAW says the Trump administration has made history with its 25% tariffs on foreign autos, calling it a major step in the right direction for auto workers and blue-collar communities across the country. Critics of tariffs say the cost of vehicles could rise. The U.S. imported almost $500 billion in automotive products last year.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. President Trump says the tariffs on cars built overseas will boost domestic manufacturing, though foreign parts used in the U.S. could also be impacted. A new analysis finds some health insurance companies got paid twice by the Medicaid system, costing taxpayers billions.
The investigation by the Wall Street Journal looked at Medicaid data and found that between 2019 and 2021, health insurers collected at least $4.3 billion for patients who were enrolled in other states. Insurance companies are paid by state and local governments to cover low-income Medicaid recipients. The analysis found that patients were signed up in 2 states at once, in many cases following a move from one to the other.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Insurers say it's up to the states to verify people's eligibility. Praise for the president's crackdown on illegal immigration from U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
He shut down our borders, and now it's our job to get these people out of our country as fast as we can.
Bondi and the FBI chief were there early today when a multi-agency raid happened in Virginia, capturing a suspected top MS-13 gang leader from El Salvador. No word yet on specific charges. America is listening to Fox News.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
It's your last chance to get Disney Plus and Hulu together for just $2.99 a month.
Definitely a very smart move.
Get both and watch Star Wars.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A springtime unsettled weather pattern that will take us right through the weekend. Going through our Thursday afternoon, partly to mostly cloudy skies, breezy. We'll keep an eye out for some scattered showers, 72 for the high. Tonight, clouds dominate, some scattered showers, a rumble of thunder possible, 60. Friday, windy and warm, mostly sunny skies, fast warm-up, peaking at 80 degrees Friday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, Millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings feel like $1 million? Or $1 million feel like $2 million? The key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. Discover how you could make money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class, Retirement Planning 101. Guys, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. If you've saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. If, like me, you haven't quite had the pedal to the metal the way you should, or if you've had the pedal to the metal the entire time, either way, give us a call. We can help you out. We'll take you wherever you are. 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects.
Get one free set of Brake Best brake pads when you buy 2 Brake Best Select brake rotors. Ask the brake professionals about other brake pad upgrade options. Shop your O'Reilly Auto Parts. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, it's officially Thursday, and I say that for our own benefit because we're pretty convinced here that it's Friday, and it's not.
I've been convinced that it's Friday since Tuesday, though.
You can't have a week full of Fridays.
Well, that's true.
You're just figuring that out every day.
It's so bad I almost put Ryan's open for Annie's show in the 2:00 hour.
Oh, man. I'm just going to tell you, if you do that, I'm not working the next day. That's how that's going to go.
We could all call off.
I'll just come in and do Wiggins America in the morning. And Mark can deal with it.
So let's talk a little bit about this photo op / message that was delivered from Kristi Noem. She goes to this jail. Do we have the video?
I don't have the video.
Okay. So she goes to this jail, and she's looking all Kristi Noem. Is it Kristi or Kirsty? It's Kristi.
Kristi, yeah. The question is it Noem or Gnome?
Gnome, like garden.
Like Kristi the Gnome.
We can do whatever we want here. We were having an off-air conversation yesterday about the presentation of Governor, now Secretary. Is it Human Health? It's not Health and Human Services. It's Department of Homeland Security.
Yes.
Is she the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security?
I just always hear her referred to as the head of the department.
Well, she always looks ready.
Dapper.
That's no.
Oh, no?
No.
Okay. You would know better. I don't really know those adjectives.
I think she's pretty.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
None of this factor. Nobody has yet had this conversation about Sean Duffy at Transportation.
Well, not on air.
No, he's a very handsome guy, though. So dapper, some might say.
Yeah, some might say.
Some.
I would never say that, off air or on air.
No, she's always camera ready. You can't not be at this point. This is the problem, men who don't know these things about women, that whatever your facial presentation is, like, what is your median enter into public face? Everything is from there. And here's the truth. You get to choose what the median is. Your face is perplexed.
Yeah. So you're saying there's like an average face you have to have, and sometimes it's a little better and sometimes it's worse?
It's not an average face that you have to have. There's an average face that you choose to present to the world as your baseline.
Okay.
Some, I'm going to say most, but it really depends on age, because my understanding, and I've experienced this myself, the older you get, the less you care about what that is for yourself. But the baseline is for me, the baseline is mascara.
Okay.
I'll put mascara on. If I don't have mascara on my eyes, people think that I've come down with cancer. They're like, Annie, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And I'm like, just my face.
I think that I've said that before.
Yes, I'm sure you have. That I have some sort of like condition or chronic illness that they didn't know about, and they're seeing it. That's just the baseline face. Most people who say, Annie, everything okay? Mean well.
And most people just don't say that, which is my folly.
More people than you think. But I'm sure that whenever you did say that to me, it was not meant to be like, you look like crap, which is what you said to Ethan the other day.
Well, I say that to Ethan almost every day.
He said it in a different way, too.
He's just jealous.
So you create a baseline, and then when you're going out to an event, turn the volume up a little bit. You do a little more to the hair. You do a little bit more to the makeup. If you're going to do some sort of athletic activity or whatever, what? What are you pointing at?
She's on TV right now.
I know. She looks fantastic.
She does. She looks great.
Yes.
That's not base level Christy Noem.
No, that is. She's got a hat on, and she's dressed a little bit more. She's like dressed for work.
So it's like casual Noem.
Yes, but it still looks great. And I will say that most women who present themselves out and about daily, they want to look nice, but they also aren't going to spend a lot of extra time investing in upping their game. This is what I got. Some people don't do that at all. Some people don't wear makeup at all. Some people don't mess with their hair at all. Totally fine. The real idea of feminism applied to this is that you get to choose, and nobody out there in the world gets to shame you into thinking you have to present yourself a particular way. If you're confident in the way you present yourself, okay, fine.
I like that she just wears a hat and it's like, I'm going to work, because that's what I do.
Casual.
Yeah.
Yes. You guys are the same.
Yeah.
Same hair.
Me and Christy Noem pretty much have the same resume.
Yeah. It's surprising that you're not in charge of Homeland Security.
I made my pitch. I didn't get an email back.
So
she did.
She is, in what I would say, near full-on glam, standing in front of a jail cell full of gang members in their underwear.
Yes, they are. And they look like they are stacked 3 high.
They were quiet. They were well-behaved in that moment in time. It's quite an image. It's quite a presentation. We know for a fact that when Donald Trump was picking his cabinet, that he wanted people who could obviously, A, do the job, but he also wanted, B, communicators, people who could convey a message that people would pay attention to, that people would understand. You can't have, like, a nerd's nerd being involved in something whose brain capacity is so much higher than everybody else's, and when they try to talk it down to, like, dumb people like me, it's like, me no understandy. Like, you can't do that. You have to have those people everywhere in the administration, but the people who are going to be the voice, the spokesperson for said department, agency, whatever, have to be able to communicate a message. And Noam certainly is communicating a message here. Was it a good thing to see Kristi Noem standing in front of this jail cell with gang members stripped down to their underwear? I have to think, I don't know. I have never been in a gang, so I'll defer to you, Ryan. Is it cool for your gang members to see you in your underwear with your tats all out in jail behind...
Tats out, yes. Underwear, no. Yeah, you definitely want to come tats a-blaring, but because that's intimidating. But when you are in your underwear, that's private time. And you don't want your gang members encroaching on private time.
Okay, so there's a lot of ways this could go. I love that you were like, let me check my rule book here. All right, section C 3.2a says.
Yeah, it's in the gang code. There's a code of conduct.
I don't know if you'd be the worst person to be in a gang or the best.
I'd probably be mid-level. You know, I'd be
middle management.
I'd be on the take from both sides.
That's what the concern would be. I'm wondering if this is a good message, because her message is, don't come. We will find you. We will hunt you down, and we will do this to you. Donald Trump and his administration have been very forward and very consistent in their message of getting the bad guys. They're going to get the bad guys. And that was proof that they have gotten the bad guys. In all seriousness, was this a good message from Kristi Noem?
Yeah, I think so, because it makes it very clear the point of the message was self-deport. If you don't, you're going to end up right over my shoulder, right there. That was the point of the message. So, it's the whole don't come thing, but with action. You know, we talked about how Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's their very, very strict message to illegal immigrants was do not come.
Vicky says, Annie, could it have been AI? It looked weird to me. I saw a lot of people talking about green screen. I didn't think so.
I don't think so either.
I didn't get that vibe.
It was a little, what I couldn't figure out was the logistics of getting people that, the kid in me went, wow, those are high bunk beds. Because there were so many people stacked up so high that I was like, wow, they got a lot of people in that shot. I mean, it was impressive in of itself. Aside from the fact that the whole point of it was you're going to end up in an El Salvadorian jail if you're a criminal in the United States right now. So in that sense, I thought it was very effective.
Terry says on YouTube, that was freaking me out. I was scared for her. I think part of the point, Brad, is that she wanted to be delivering a message, what appeared to be maybe 10 feet in front of these gang members, which to me said, I'm not afraid of these people. I will get these people. And I am in control of these people. That was the message. But yeah, I'm thinking like, if that were my daughter or something there, I'd be like, get the hell out of there.
It's funny you say that because that is that's your instant reaction is, are you safe? Are you okay?
Yeah, kind of a...
Yeah, you just sort of, for a second, and then you realize, oh yeah, she's doing a video. She must be fine.
Yeah, you look there. I would be worried, but you see some of the other pictures and photos from that event, and there are hundreds of guards surrounding her.
All masked up so that people can't tell what they look like.
Masked up right here.
Like, this is what I look like.
Well, she's got that hat on, though. You don't know what her head looks like.
What if those guards
What if it's bald? You wouldn't know.
Yeah,
You'd see her in the streets and be like, that's not her.
That's Fryer.
They didn't want those incredibly good-looking guards upstaging her.
I mean... It's definitely, there was a choice made there.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a choice. Someone said, let me find the comment too, because I want to give them credit. They wanted to know about, Dash. Were the underwear pink?
No. Wait, whose underwear? You talking about in that shot or in the gangs? Because I'm kind of the gang expert on the show now, and I could probably speak to that.
The people whose underwear we could see, sir.
No, they weren't. They were white. They were like Roby.
Whose underwear? Ryan.
I didn't know who. I didn't know, which gang members.
Okay.
So in that shot, no.
This brings me to another question.
Yeah,
Dash
please.
says, were the underwear pink? Is underwear automatically plural? Because I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Underwear is plural.
Why?
I'm not sure because
it's not.
The only way for it to be singular would be for there just be one leg hole.
No.
Like it covers just the junk and the one leg.
Ryan, no one's listening anyway.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
but that's the only way. I thought about this a lot.
7 people in St. Louis who are like, "There's nothing to do today."
Yeah,
this is 97.
What's he talking about?
I don't know.
It takes the pressure. Hey, this is going to be a great show.
Yeah,
we're just going to do whatever we want.
Nobody's going to know it. We're not going to podcast it.
Right? There's no record.
Brad, I'll ask you, is underwear plural?
No, I think it's singular. I think it's both, but when you're talking about one, it's just underwear.
I feel like my grandmother used to refer to them plurally, like in the they sense. The pronouns were they.
If you put on one pair of underwear, you're putting on a pair. That's two.
Why is it a pair?
I don't know, because they got two leg holes. That's why I assume. Or you call them underpants. Plural.
Don't boys' underwear, don't men's underwear have 3 holes?
Sort of, depending on
the brand.
Yeah, depending on the brand. Yeah, exactly.
Some brands do, some brands don't.
Yeah, some brands you just got to tear right through. Told you we're going to do whatever we want today. 2 leg holes. That's back to the point.
I'm going to throw this out to the people for the 2 o'clock hour. Because there's a segment that I've wanted to do that we've been kind of tossing around and it hasn't happened yet. And I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea. But our boss keeps telling us to take risks.
Really?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, I guess he did. I don't know that he meant this, but...
I think that we could have a very good conversation about things that men do that you it's like... It's just part of living the life as a man. There are things that men do that women have no idea about, don't understand the process of, and that women do. And I'm kind of talking about, like, for instance, it doesn't have to be all, I know everyone's thinking weird things right now. Knock it off. But when it comes to makeup, if you had a gun to your head and you had to apply your makeup and try to actually make it look right.
Yeah,
like
make
what
a little money.
What I do to my, you're on, what did you eat for breakfast?
One donut.
Yeah, I'm sure. 3 hot dogs and 7 beers. Or for you, maybe just 7
Couple
sips.
of beers.
Couple of
Little
beers.
bump.
Would you be able to apply makeup even to a woman? Would you be able to put makeup on a woman and make it look good?
Heck yeah.
Brad?
Would he be able to do it?
No, you.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, my God. You guys are so out of it. Women don't always know how to do this.
No, that's
you
true.
You couldn't possibly.
You know how many blogs there are out there? I just pull one of those up.
No, I'm
Boom.
saying to do it right now. Do you know how to do it?
Yeah, give a girl a smoky eye and send her out there.
Base coat, clear coat.
That's
No.
exactly right, Brad.
No.
Sealer.
If you're talking about cars or manicures,
out.
I'm not 100%
Turpentine.
sure. Yeah,
Yep.
you guys are screwed. I wonder what other things out there exist that men are super curious about, what women, like how women do certain things that they never have to deal with, and the vice versa. So if you had some of those things and you're one of the 8 people listening in St. Louis today, thank you for being there. We love you.
Hi.
Get on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat and comment those things. And if we get enough of them, I have a few jotted down. Maybe the guys do too, because we've talked about this off air quite a bit. Maybe we'll have that very uncomfortable conversation in the 2 o'clock hour, which today would be the best day to do it, really.
Yeah, I would. So we'll do it.
That and maybe like the Christmas special.
You want to rerun the Christmas special today? That's fine.
It's Christmas in St. Louis. Let's take a quick break. We're going to visit with Zach Smith. Hans has the day off. We're going to talk to him about the Trump executive orders affecting elections. He wants to get elections up and running the way they're supposed to by the time he's done. And he's got something to say about proof of citizenship and how long do we accept mail-in ballots, those types of things. We'll get the bottom of it with Zach Smith from the Heritage Foundation next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are right there waiting for you to call 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. He is going to walk you through how the Bagel Loan will help you in your situation. So if you're buying a home right now and you connect with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage and you qualify for the Bagel Loan, when you go to close, guess what? $0 that you pay in closing costs or fees. They're not there. You don't have to put them in the loan and finance them over the 20, 25, 30 years, whatever the length of the loan is. You don't pay closing costs with the Bagel Loan at Stewart's American Mortgage. Same thing goes with Bagel Loan refinances, which I have done 2 times with Stewie because he's very, very good at what he does. He's incredibly helped my family. We have a great monthly payment on our house, a great low rate, and I couldn't have done it without Stewart's American Mortgage. He's right there to help walk you through the process of securing a Bagel Loan for you. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan and MLS number 226715.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. We know the loss and the cost of an accident because when an insurance company offers a lowball settlement, we go to war for you and take the fight to the insurance company. Call 314-500-5000.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living, where your loved one will enjoy chef-prepared meals, engaging activities, state-of-the-art technology, and a welcoming community that feels like home. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today. New Perspective, where every day is a chance to live life on purpose.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number and call 800-587-1272. That's 800-587-1272. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1272. That's 800-587-1272 today.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan and be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk presents Talk in Action, where we shine a spotlight on local charities making a difference in our community. Join us as we give back and connect neighbors in need. Visit 971talk.com/talkinaction to learn more. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Executive order for your attention on the very important subject of election integrity. We believe that this executive order is the farthest reaching executive action taken in the history of the Republic to secure our elections. Among numerous other aspects of this executive order, this is going to cut down on illegal immigrants on the voter rolls, ensure that the Department of Homeland Security and the data that they have available is being fully weaponized to ensure that illegal immigrants aren't voting. This will include a citizenship question on the federal voting form for the first time. This executive order instructs the EAC to cut federal funding to states that don't take reasonable steps to secure their election. This calls on the Department of Justice to vigorously prosecute election crimes, particularly in states that we don't believe are in compliance with federal law around election integrity. I could go on and on for a while, sir, but the compliance with national election day rules, cracking down and investigating and prosecuting foreign interference in our elections, revoking President Biden's Executive Order 14019, which essentially weaponized government to corrupt and pollute our election process. There's a lot in here, but we believe that these are very important steps that we need to be taking as an administration at your direction to ensure that our elections are as secure as they possibly can be.
Will Scharf, our guy there, reading over, or kind of clarifying over the shoulder of Donald Trump and putting himself in a position to explain exactly how this executive order from Donald Trump is going to secure our elections here in the future. I want to get to our guest. We've got Zach Smith with us today. Hans has the day off. We're always excited to have Zach on the show. He is the legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, also co-host of SCOTUS 101. Zach, welcome back. It's good to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me on the show today, Annie. I always joke I am a poor man's Hans von Spakovsky, but happy to play that role any day of the week.
No, not at all. We love having you here, and we know you know your stuff. One of the things that Donald Trump has been saying very consistently through, December of 2020 about the election is he thinks they're unsecure. He's got questions with them. But now that he is back in his second term, he gets the opportunity to do something about it. I'm sure that there will be legal challenges to the executive order he signed. signed. But Zach, what can you tell us about this effort that the president is making to secure our elections?
Well, look, this is a long overdue, much needed effort. And I think Will Sharf, when he was explaining kind of the contours of this executive order, hit on many of the high points. But look, I think it's important to put this in context, Annie. You had the Biden administration over the past 4+ years essentially weaponizing the federal government to try to turn it into a Democratic voter registration turnout machine, trying to weaponize essentially all aspects of the federal government to engage in these very problematic practices. And so what the Trump executive order does, it rescinds that previous Biden EO, but then it also directs the attorney general to enforce certain federal laws that are already on the books. And it also instructs the attorney general, the Department of Homeland Secretary, and others to take certain common sense steps to also remove barriers for states who want to use certain databases, certain other information, to cross-check their voter rolls to make sure that only eligible voters are registered to vote. And all of those things, as far as I'm concerned, are very good policy steps for this administration to take.
Zach, in your opinion, what percentage of securing our elections, what percentage of fixing it needs to be clean voter rolls?
That is a large percentage of it, Annie. And, some of the things that this EO does in particular, like allowing increased accessibility to certain databases, that is going to help that exponentially. But I think it's also important to recognize that this executive order, in part, orders the Attorney General, other federal law enforcement agencies to focus on states enforcing federal election laws in states that are not taking the steps that they should be taking. Election administration is primarily in the realm of a state authority. State legislatures have primary responsibility for administering their elections, but there is a role for the federal government to play. The Constitution provides that Congress can act as a backstop in certain instances. And so, again, I'm encouraged to see President Trump issue this EO.
We're speaking with legal fellow from Heritage Foundation, Zach Smith. I understand. I remember Joe Biden and his administration wanting to kind of federalize our election system. And I remember conservatives being like, elections are supposed to be managed by the states. So does this cross over? Is it a conflict of interest now for the for the Trump administration to be saying, okay, across the board, all the states, here are the things you need to do?
No, it's not. And I would say that's not what this order does, Annie. The big pushback we saw from several years ago was when House and Senate Democrats tried to pass H.R. 1 and Senate Bill 1, respectively, which, of course, was an effort to nationalize many aspects of federal election law, something that had never before been done in our nation's history. What this executive order that Donald Trump does, it essentially requires the Attorney General to enforce current laws that Congress has already passed. It doesn't create a new law. And then to provide extra assistance to the states in administering their elections and in making sure that federal law is being enforced in those states that are not taking those common sense steps that are needed. So under this executive order, primary responsibility for election administration still resides with the states. This order respects that. It understands it, but is providing very necessary, very helpful federal resources to assist the states in their efforts.
Zach, this is Ryan. Just listening to Will Sharf kind of explain the EO there at the beginning of the segment, it sounded like there was a lot packed into this one executive order. And so my question is that a strategy legally that they're trying to push through a lot in one? Because normally, don't you just focus on one particular thing per executive order?
No, not necessarily. And there is a lot, but I think it shows how many moving pieces there are in this election administration front. And so a lot of the actions that are they're occurring, being instructed to take place in this executive order. For instance, the president is ordering the attorney general to take several actions in several distinct areas. The same thing with the Secretary of Homeland Security, as well as other federal officials. And so while there are a lot of moving pieces to this EO, they all tie together in a very common sense way that will ultimately make our elections more safe and more secure at the end of the day.
So senior legal fellow Zach Smith with us right now. We're excited to have him in to talk about this executive order from the president of the United States. I'm curious how much legal challenge you expect to have, if any of this is, just locked tight and is going to be able to be implemented. It seems like they put something out, everybody on Trump's side goes, hooray, we finally did it. And then the next day it's like, no, we didn't. And then we have activist judges and they get in the way. And then it's hard to say nothing happens because he's only been the president for 2 months once again. What is your thoughts on the legal challenges that will be faced with this EO?
Well, I have no doubt that legal challenges will be fired. It's almost a reflexive impulse at this point. Whenever the president issues an EO, there's kind of an army of left-leaning lawyers lined up to challenge it in some form or fashion. What's going to be interesting about this executive order, because so much of election law does take place in the states, because so much of election law is state-based, I suspect some of these challenges may come up in unique settings in state courts as opposed to federal courts, as we've seen in the past. And we'll also have to wait and see. The president ordered some specific actions to be taken with revisions to the federal form that's used to register voters and that sort of thing. And so I suspect we may see challenges come up at each piece of implementation of these policies along the way. But again, ultimately, I'm skeptical that those challenges will be successful, because essentially what this order, again, is trying to do is to order the Attorney General to enforce already existing on the books federal laws, and then to also provide certain resources and assistance to states in administering their own elections.
So, Zach, this is Ryan again. If this is already stuff that's on the books, I guess my question is, why is the EO necessary if it's just saying, well, this already exists?
Well, unfortunately, I think you saw the Biden administration refusing to enforce some common sense black letter laws that were already on the books, or even acting in defiance of some of those laws. And so one of the things this EO does, it repeals one of the Biden EOs that, again, tried to weaponize the entire federal government. So in part, this is reversing some of the damage, some of the undermining of the rule of law that happened under the Biden administration. The other issue that's taken place is that some courts, some departments within the federal government, the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice has historically been a very radical division of DOJ staffed with very left-leaning radical lawyers. I suspect Harmeet Dillon, who is the new Assistant Attorney General in charge of that division, will correct some of those issues. But part of this EO is also necessary to correct some of the erroneous interpretations of law that division, other departments of the government have taken as well. And so a lot of this is Donald Trump doing his best to set his house in order, and then to also take proactive steps to help make sure our elections are safe and secure moving forward.
We're speaking with Zach Smith right now. You are a co-host of SCOTUS 101. I'm curious on your thoughts of the current makeup of the Supreme Court. Donald Trump enjoys the appointment of, 3 of the justices that make up a third of the Supreme Court right now. Yet it seems as though some of the rulings that have come out don't necessarily favor Donald Trump as much as he certainly would like them to. How do you feel Donald Trump will fare with many of these cases, these challenges, should they get to the Supreme Court? How do you think he'll fare with this current makeup of 9 justices?
Well, I joke, Annie, my crystal ball is a little cloudy these days on predicting outcomes at the Supreme Court. It's hard to say, truthfully. And look, I think 2 things to what you said. One, I think, the fact that the supposedly conservative justices don't always agree with each other shows that originalism, textualism does not lead to monolithic outcomes. They are not politically driven results. There are often, differences in interpretation that the justices have and how they apply those originalist and textualist methods. The other thing I would say is it will be interesting to watch and see, because so far the court has had to avoid weighing in on the merits of many of these challenges due to procedural hurdles that have come up along the way. And I suspect the runway on those procedural hurdle objections are about to run out. And I suspect the court will have to take up some of these issues as they come before the justices. And the last thing I'll say on that front, it'll be very interesting to watch and see what Justice Amy Coney Barrett does, particularly compared to some of her other conservative colleagues like Justice Gorsuch, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, and then Justice Thomas and Justice Samuel Alito. There is some disagreement among some of the conservative justices on some of these issues, how they should be applied, what the court's role is in resolving these issues. So that will be a very interesting dynamic to watch play out.
Zach, I want to ask you a question about something that I didn't ask you ahead of time, your experience or expertise on this issue. So if you don't know a lot about this, just let us know and we can maybe revisit it another time. But part of this election EO talks about being able to show proof of citizenship and so on and so forth. And we had several people in our live chat that follows us on our Annie Fry YouTube channel talking about Real ID. I don't know how much you know about Real ID. Are you well versed in that?
I'm only familiar with Real ID at a 10,000-foot level. Essentially, I think, as I understand it, it requires states to confirm citizenship or other proof of identity before issuing a state ID. I know TSA is supposed to start requiring Real ID before you can use your state identification card to board airplanes in the very near future. But look, Annie, fundamentally what this comes down to is there needs to be some way to verify, other than just a person's bare assertion, that they are who they say they are and that, in fact, they are not disqualified from voting. And so, states obviously requiring a photo ID, great. That's a good first step. Some states also require a specific voter ID number. Some states require the last four of a voter's social security number, particularly if those voters are voting by absentee ballots. So all of those types of measures are certainly steps in the right direction in making sure that the individual voting is who they say they are and that they are, in fact, eligible to cast that ballot.
Yeah, it just seems strange to me. Like, Real ID seems a little more complicated to acquire than just getting, a state-issued ID or a license. And it's just interesting to me that this mandate is being put out on Real ID to say you need to have this, more secure form of identification, but yet it's racist to suggest that people should be able to show free state-issued IDs to vote. I don't know. I don't understand how both of those things can be advocated for at the same time.
No, I think it's a great point. I think it highlights the logical inconsistencies of the positions of many folks on the left. And look, if you look at the polling on showing voter ID, Annie, I don't think it will come as a surprise that vast majorities of voters across all demographics are very supportive of the idea that you should have to show ID or prove that you are who you say you are in some way before you're eligible to cast a ballot.
Well, we appreciate you, Zach. You are no second place to Hans von Spakovsky. We love him, and we love you as well, and we appreciate your time today.
Of course. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yep, of course. Bye-bye. Zach Smith, the legal fellow from Heritage Foundation, giving us a lowdown on the executive order coming out of the Trump administration, telling us about how he is going to tighten up and secure our election system. It's good to hear. And then I just pause and wait for all of the legal challenges to happen. So I guess we're probably in that phase right now. All right. When we come back, Ryan Wiggins with Wiggins America. Very, very key one today. What is it?
Science-backed ways to seem smarter than you are.
If only we could get an expert.
Yeah. I'm just reporting on this. I am smarter than I am.
Than you are. We'll be right back.
It's been shitty, and I feel
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Since I thought you and me, well, I am imagining a dark-lit place, or your place, or my place. Well, I'm not paralyzed, but I seem to be struck by you. I wanna make you move because you're standing still.
The Retirement Advisory Group knows that you have to have an expert guide you through that transitionary period between working and retirement on a beach, or retirement in a Winnebago, or retirement in your bed sleeping in because you didn't have to get up with the alarm. Oh, gosh, that sounds so nice. I am not there yet. You are, though. And so you need to call 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494, so that when you're sitting on your back porch, sipping lemonade, listening to the birds chirp that you can now identify based on their family and genus and species because you love birds, you don't have to spend that time also worrying that you did the right things to get into retirement. You've worked hard, you've saved as much as you can, you've sacrificed along the way, and the Retirement Advisory Group is there to ensure that that peace of mind comes along with that retirement. 314-993-9494. A free sit-down consultation with them doesn't cost you anything. You can choose to continue on with it or just stop right there. You've got nothing to lose and so much to gain by calling the Retirement Advisory Group. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Find out why Renewal by Andersen has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis at RBASTL.com or call 314-332-1924. RBASTL.com or 314-332-1924.
How did Goldberg enter that signal chat? That's today's YouTube live chat poll. And however you decide is what will end up being true. Is
this part of Wiggins America, how to appear smarter than you actually are?
No, that's coming up.
Okay.
We
I was confused,
you can't do that yet because you haven't heard that yet.
I think I've heard it.
This is just real smarts right here. Now everything after will just be fake. Human error, technical malfunction, or setup. How did Goldberg enter the signal chat? Let us know. It's today's YouTube live chat poll. 12:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This Friday, we're inviting you to have some fish with us. It's another Fish Fry Friday on The Mark Reardon Show. This time, we're in Oakville at Queen of All Saints. Visit 971talk.com for info. Fish Fry Fridays, this week in Oakville at Queen of All Saints.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
You know what I'm thinking right now?
I do not know what you're thinking right now. I don't need to know what you're thinking right now. Neither do they.
All right, let's just do Wiggins America.
Wiggins!
Oh! Wiggins!
That was a close one, folks. You're probably thinking about Hostess. Little Debbie's.
What else would it be? I'm thinking about snack cakes all the time.
I know.
Creamy centers. Yum. Anyway, this is science-backed tricks to make you seem smarter than you are.
Let me ask you this. Did you read this whole article already?
Yeah.
Do you do any of these?
I don't think so.
Would you tell Would you tell us if you did?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I really love these because they're the kind of things that you go, yeah, that would work, wouldn't it? Let's start with the first one. Use a middle initial. So no matter where you are, have people refer to you as not just John Kennedy,
Ryan,
but John
what
F.
is your
Kennedy.
middle initial?
R.
All right, let's get people on the YouTube chat to guess what Ryan's middle name is. R?
Yeah, it's R.
Is it Ryan?
It is. It's Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, middle initial. That's
Yeah.
the one in between.
Yep.
R?
Yep.
Middle initial, Brad?
M.
Mine is E. Let's see if people can get it. R-M-E. R-E-M.
It's Erica, isn't it?
You have to guess in the chat, and we will congratulate the people who get it correct.
And mine, little hint for me, I sometimes
hints.
use
No hints.
X in the middle because it's Ryan X2.
I love the fact that your name forever will now be Ryan Wiggins.
Ryan Wiggins.
Your parents are like, I don't know.
I think that sounds like something I said when I was 2. Like they had shown me what my name was and I couldn't remember it. I'm Ryan Wiggins. Use your middle initial, John F. Kennedy, Franklin D. Roosevelt. It turns out there might be a reason why so many people who hold prominent places in history used a middle initial.
Also, those two people had dynastic families in American politics, so you might need to discern them a little bit more.
Yeah, that's also true.
So I love how they're like, in order to look smart, just do what JFK did.
Not everything.
No.
But most things.
Or everyone.
Don't. Did
Go
that?
on. Go
now,
on.
if
Go
you were
on.
listening to the radio,
Go on.
did you hear the little comment there
Go
from
on.
Annie, or did you have to crank it up to hear that? Because we heard it. I just don't know if you did. You can rewind, I think, still on the Odyssey app.
My best
about 15
commentary
seconds.
is barely audible.
Yes, it is. All right, more ways to sound smarter than you actually are, or to become smarter than you actually are. Make graphs.
Ryan Rutherford Wiggins.
Keep guessing. I'm not going to tell you until.
No, we'll maybe tell you in the
Yeah,
2 o'clock
I'll
hour.
tell you in the 2 o'clock hour. Make graphs.
It's Rebecca, isn't it?
Research
Make
conducted
graphs.
at Cornell suggests that people are more likely to trust a source if it contains graphs.
I'm disappointed that you don't have a graph for this segment.
Oh, yeah, that would have been like a lot of work, though. And you know how I hate that. In one of Cornell's studies, participants read a document on the effectiveness of new cold medication. One report contained a graph, the other didn't. The other one with the graph got much more participation and trust put in it, according to that study. So, no matter what you do, use your middle initial and make graphs.
In the study, did the graph actually reflect the substance of the...
Yeah, it was real. It was all real data. Just one of them was presented with a graph. The other one was not.
What was not? When I read through articles, I see a headline that I like. If there aren't bold headlines that divide up the article, I'm not reading it. I will go through and look at the bold headlines, like if it's like ways you can appear smarter. I need those to be listed in bold headlines.
Great
and
example.
then if one of those headlines interests me, then I read the paragraphs under it. I'm not going to read 500 words.
Yeah, this is how Axios appears smarter than they are. They're not actually that smart.
I love Axios' presentation. They break it down in like bite-sized pieces, so you're constantly making a decision. Do I want to know more? I think I want to know more. Or I think I've learned what I need to learn here. What was the other part of that you just said? Graphs? Oh.
Just graphs.
I would be visual aids would help me consume things faster. I can read words and retain words, but that is the most difficult way for me to learn something, is just reading and trying to retain it.
Number 3, skip that drink. And it's not just because people tend to do stupid things when they're drunk. Yeah, a joint study conducted by the University of Michigan and the University of Pennsylvania revealed that merely seeing someone hold a drink is enough to make them seem less intelligent. So don't even hold a drink near you.
If we're going to cite American historically political figures, what about Marco Rubio? He's the Secretary of State now.
No, it has to be an alcoholic drink, not water.
You don't know what was in that bottle.
Was it vodka?
I don't know. They just, in a congressional hearing yesterday, accused Pete Hegseth of maybe drinking something when he was at a podium and had a sip of water.
That's right. He's trying to make him
Pete
stupid.
Hegseth is not allowed to drink anything anymore without the Democrats being like, what's in that?
Oh, you're looking kind of hydrated there, SecDef. All right, number 4, believe in yourself.
Oh.
Nothing projects intelligence quite like confidence. Now, when you asked ahead of time if there's any of them that I do.
This one hit?
This one hits pretty hard, pretty close to home. Yeah, you just have to come in just blazing. And people will assume, oh, he must know what he's talking about.
I tell that to my kids when they're doing things for the first time that they need to do, they need to go do. It's like, you just got to project. Like, what are the options when you proceed into doing something for the first time? You're going to succeed or you're going to fail. One of those two. There might be something that happens in the middle where you could argue, oh, that was better than it could have been, or that didn't go as well as it could have, but it's not a complete and total failure. But you might as well psych yourself up. Don't be a jackwagon about it. Like, don't go acting like you're the best to ever do the thing you've never done before. But you might as well tell yourself that you're good at it. You might as well tell yourself that you are capable of said thing and go in there with that juiced confidence. It can't hurt you.
It definitely can, especially for kids. That helps making teams if you just look confident, like you know what you're doing, even if you don't.
Yeah.
It helps you intimidate an opponent in sports if you just look confident. Right, number 5.
By the way, I'm reading some of our middle names, and I might want to upgrade mine.
From Erica?
These are good names.
Number 5 is write simply. If you're really smart, you shouldn't have to use big words to
Facts.
broadcast it. This is very true.
That's good English. Good. Yes.
Go on.
Well, it's just if you're actually trying to communicate something through writing, are you trying to fill a quota of words and pages, or are you trying to communicate a message? If you can take anything extra out of the sentence that you're writing, take it out. If you can convey the message, maybe you can use a better word, but using more words isn't hardly ever better, just for the sake of using words.
Yeah, that's why I use emojis so much.
Like fist bump, flag, fire.
Yeah, also poop. Like, oh no, instead of saying, oh no, it's just poop.
What's the title of this segment again?
How to appear smarter than you are.
Okay, go on.
Right simply. True intelligence speaks for itself, so you don't have to show off your impressive vocabulary. That's very true. You can spot that quickly if somebody's trying to do that. So right simply. Number 6, speak expressively. I think we understand this in broadcast. This is what you're supposed to do. Communication expert Leonard Mildown now makes the case that even if two people say the exact same thing, the one who says it most expressively will be perceived as being smarter. All right. Whatever you were going to say there, I was going to be like, oh, that's very expressive. Are you trying to project? And you just didn't say anything, so thanks for the material. Number 7.
You're welcome.
Number 7, look them in the eye. We know you're supposed to do this anyway. It's good manners, but it's true that it also makes you look smarter. In a study conducted at Loyola University, participants who intentionally managed their eye contact scored significantly higher on perceived intelligence.
Brad, how much eye contact is too much eye contact?
Depends on what you're talking about. I think it's like if you go like more than a few seconds without blinking, that's too much.
Well, that's not that
But,
doesn't break blinking doesn't break eye contact.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Creepiest eye contact is when somebody's sleeping.
Their
And they're
eyes
just-
are open.
yeah.
And
Oh my
gosh. He's just staring at me.
God, blink. You just close their eyes once.
How much
A little
eye
extra
contact
hydration.
is too much eye contact? I don't know. A minute?
Do you struggle? What kind of grade, Brad, do you give yourself on appropriate eye contact?
B+.
I'm going to refer back to number
A+.
4 here. Say believe in yourself. I'm going to say I give myself 100% on eye contact. I actually don't think about it, and I think that's the point.
Oh, for sure.
Is if you start thinking about it, it gets weird, and if you're not doing it at all, it's also weird.
How many more do you have?
Just a couple.
Yeah.
One more?
I give myself a C on eye contact because
Really?
that's all I'm doing is thinking about it.
Always?
Always.
Oh,
Like right now.
no, that's terrible. Well, now
Don't
we
look at
are.
me.
Yeah, now it's
Don't look-
awkward.
Don't look at me.
I'm going to look into the camera and just assume that you're looking back at me.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Wear nerd glasses is number 8. Just
Wear-
wear glasses.
Wear glasses. You just
Wear nerd glasses.
Yeah, wear nerd glasses. Number 9 is keep pace with the crowd. And they say this one's literal. I know it may sound silly, but research conducted at Boston University shows that it's true. It's called timescale bias, and it refers to a tendency to attribute greater intelligence based on mental attributes like consciousness, awareness, and intention to people.
What was the headline?
Keep pace with the crowd. Basically,
Yeah.
know your place in society is what that's saying.
I'm going to Macoupin County to speak this weekend. I don't know if there are tickets left, but if you want to go to the Lincoln Day dinner at Macoupin County, I'll be there, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I always say when I do these things, like, how long would you like me to speak? Because some people will be like, 5 to 10 minutes would be fine, whatever you think. And then, like this weekend, they go 30 minutes, but if you're on a roll, keep going. Wow. Yeah. And there are times.
It's giving a full sermon.
There are times where, not in my church, shorter. There are times where I'll be doing these things and I'm working the 5 to 10 minute range, maybe closer to the 10 minute range, and it goes 18 minutes, and I can tell when I'm done that people are like, they're listening, they're fully engaged. You're watching the crowd, you're seeing that they are listening to what you have to say. But if I'm given a 30-minute window and I'm 18 minutes in and people are checking their watches, which maybe they are, or, kind of shuffling papers or reading the program or whatever, checking their phones, I'm wrapping that sucker.
Read the room.
Yes, you have to be able to look out and see, do people want more? Are people happy and content? And if they're happy and content, and that's they're not leaning forward in their seats, you need to be in the bottom of the 8th inning at that point. You need to not wait for people to look bored to stop talking.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Last one. It's obvious. Dress for success.
Oh, yeah.
You have to dress like you know what you're doing.
That's what we do here every day.
We do it every day with these hats and this hair, these headphones.
My middle initial is E. Ryan's is R. I know you're Ryan.
Uh-huh.
Brad's is M, and we're letting you guess what our middle names are. We'll reveal it in the 2 o'clock hour. Don't let us forget to reveal it. And your guesses so far, some of them are fantastic. Some of them look like upgrades. Some of them are hilarious. We'll be right back with Tyrus. Don't go away.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code QUOTE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code QUOTE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code QUOTE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
An accused gang leader in custody. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A 24-year-old from El Salvador, believed to be one of the top MS-13 leaders in the U.S. and in the country illegally, is awaiting charges after a multi-agency takedown in Virginia. Fox's David Spunt.
Typically, you don't see an FBI director and attorney general come to these operations at 4:30 in the morning, but the director, along with top DOJ officials, are supporting this recently set up task force in Virginia.
This is what can happen when you put good cops in good places to take on bad guys. And America should be watching this. And we are proud to be here standing with these brave warriors.
FBI Director Kash Patel among those on the ground to watch the operations using monitors, even as a court fight continues on the president's use of a wartime law to quickly deport suspected gang members. Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem, who visited the El Salvador prison some suspects were sent to, is now in Colombia, just announcing a statement of intent with that government to use biometric capabilities to manage migrants and fight illegal activity. Tufts University wants a court to declare that a student's due process rights were violated when she was detained and quickly taken to an ICE processing center.
Online records show Rumeysa Ozturk is at a Louisiana facility, taken from Massachusetts before a judge could issue an order to block the transfer until the government justified the detainment. The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement, Ozturk, who is from Turkey and in the U.S. on a student visa, took part in protests in support of Hamas, and that is grounds for visa termination.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The Justice Department breaking up what it calls an ongoing terrorist financing scheme to fund Hamas using crypto accounts. They say more than $200,000 in cryptocurrency was seized. America is listening to Fox News.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
It's your last chance to get Disney Plus and Hulu together for just $2.99 a month.
Definitely a very smart move.
Get both and watch Star Wars Andor Season 2 and Mufasa the Lion King on Disney Plus.
There's a lot of stories with all of us.
On Hulu, it's the new season of The Handmaid's Tale and A Complete Unknown.
Give a warm welcome to Bob Dylan.
Don't miss your last chance to get Disney Plus and Hulu together for just $2.99 a month for 4 months. New and returning subscribers, 18 plus only. After 4 months, plan auto renews at $10.99 a month until canceled. Offer ends 3/30/25. Terms of
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A springtime unsettled weather pattern that will take us right through the weekend, going through our Thursday afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, breezy. We'll keep an eye out for some scattered showers, 72 for the high. Tonight, clouds dominate, some scattered showers, a rumble of thunder possible, 60. Friday, windy and warm, mostly sunny skies, fast warm-up, peaking at 80 degrees Friday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
97.1 FM Talk is proudly supporting the Guns N' Hoses Queen of Hearts raffle, benefiting the St. Louis Backstoppers. Learn more at stlgunsandhoses.com and listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show Fridays at 8:20 for winner announcements.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry
They
Show.
didn't want Pete Hegseth to have his position in the first place. By the way, that was the question I was asked in the hallways today, mostly by these liberal reporters. Should Pete Hegseth resign? It's ridiculous. Again, a federal prosecutor said Joe Biden was so incompetent he couldn't stand trial. He was the commander-in-chief. Where were all these journalists asking questions then about his mental state? They were gone because they're all on the same team. We ought to stand together here and make sure that we understand this was a mistake. It shouldn't happen again, but they were successful, and it's a change in direction for foreign policy.
Spiegel.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Well, Tyrus, welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Of course, everyone knows you as a regular on Gutfeld, Fox News contributor, host of Maintaining with Tyrus on Outkick, and also host of the Brian Kilmeade Show, which aired right before this show today on 97.1. You're busy.
Yes, it has been a busy week, but that's okay.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you making the time.
Oh, yeah, and I'm heading actually to Andover, Mass. I got a show tonight. So, you know, we're making the rounds, and it's opening day.
And it's opening day.
You know, where both our teams are currently in first place.
For sure. How are the Boston Red Sox going to do this year? Do you have last year at the beginning of the year you had not a whole lot of confidence in them. What about this year?
I'm optimistic, but I think the sophomore jinx is going to be pretty rough. a lot of young guys that had good years last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sure how it's going to translate over. And I was not thrilled that we let our closer go to the Angels. I don't think Chapman has much left in the tank. So I'm a little concerned if what their management saw that, the Texas Rangers were like, hey, thanks for almost costing us a World Series. So, and he's our closer. So in Red Sox fashion, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, we're holding on for positive outcomes, and we need a lot of hope. And maybe, I don't know if Boston needs that this year as well, but we'll see, of course, and we'll watch it throughout the course of the season. I wanted to ask you about the signal gate, as it has been referred to. I'm almost ready to just pretend the story didn't happen at all, because there is room for improvement in how these departments are managing their communications, but the fallout was minimal. It's just been a boon for Democrats who haven't had anything to complain about. Is this a scandal?
No. And is it really a boon? They're just doing what they do no matter what. They cry and complain with no real alternatives or solutions, and their answer was fire everybody. We want transparency, which is hilarious. It was 4 years of shadow, and we still don't know who was making these pardons and signing this stuff. And every time something bad happened, it was swept under the rug. Or, Jean-Pierre would come walking out with her notebook full of no answers and just walk around and, circle back, and then there was the one before her. So it was an entire administration of just complete, it was in shambles, and people lost their lives with their decisions, and this wasn't the case at all. Somehow, which I'll be interested to see if it was an inside job, if it was a leak, if someone got him on that thing, because I'm sure there's going to be people who feel they're martyrs and are, not going to follow the oath they took in office to do things like this, to try to sabotage this administration. So I'm just interested. I just think it's really, I don't believe in coincidences, and one of the staunchest and most false fake news toting reporters was in on this one. So I think that raises my eyebrows quite a bit. And it goes back to the, enemy within thing. And Democrats have been pretty open about just promoting violence with the Tesla attacks and opposition with no apparent reason. The American people voted convincingly and handedly, and they don't seem to be learning from their mistakes. And I don't think anyone lost sleep over this situation. I think they thought they had something, and again, they should have waited for the facts to actually come out, because it went from war plans to attack plans to, Pete asking you guys where you guys want to order for lunch. So again, they're trying it. I think Will Cain from Will Cain's show absolutely destroyed 2 days in a row. And I think Senator Crow was probably the worst one that he just wiped out, because he was like, this is and he wasn't about whataboutism. Will Cain was like, this is your the standard for what you hold as far as is outrageous, and firings need to happen, but yet on Afghanistan, he didn't ask for anyone to be fired. So I'm just curious to how you square that. And he had absolutely, he said the greatest, worst line ever. Oh, it's apple to oranges. And I was like, yeah, the apples were getting killed.
Yeah.
So again, it's just, but yet it didn't call for anyone's job. Guy goes missing for 4 days. No one knows where he's at. Doesn't call for anybody's job. President can't complete a complete sentence. Can't do a meet and greet without a 12-foot teleprompter for 10 people. Not allowed to take pictures. And the list goes on and on and on. We had orgies in the Congress chambers. No one's calling for fire. How many firings were there actually going down in the last previous administration? So it's just, that's what makes it so laughable.
Yeah.
Is that, you want to criticize 1,000%. I think the response matched the criticism. We heard it from the president, Mike Waltz, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard. Like, everyone has chimed in. Kash Patel. Everyone has chimed in, accepting responsibility, and they're getting to the bottom of it. So I don't really see what the issue is, other than they just refuse to report good news and things that are actually happening.
Tyrus is speaking with us right now. Of course, he's on the move. Very, very busy guy, always working, and we are always grateful for your time with us today, Tyrus. I think, our YouTube poll question today is, how did Goldberg enter the Signal chat? human error, technical malfunction, or a setup. Do you think it's possible that there was something nefarious that got Goldberg into that chat?
I think we saw this in the first time Trump was in the White House, where there was constant leaks, constant so-called martyrs inside that were doing things. And it's just, I'd be different if it was like James Smith from Arkansas, who's a plumber who works 80 hours a week, got a random text from Pete Hegseth and the guys talking about the strike. That's a weird coincidence where misnumber was put down, but his number was put in specifically. 1,000%. I feel, I don't know it's fact, but it feels true. And I don't believe in coincidences. And it just seems awful random that this particular individual would get punched in there. So either he had someone, you probably need to sit him down in a chair and actually ask him when he was aware, how was he aware. I think, with today's modern technology and guys like Kash Patel run the FBI, they should be able to get to the bottom of it pretty quickly. And I think we'll find out there was probably a leaker.
Interesting.
Who was purposely trying to sabotage. Again, don't have any facts to back it up. Just kind of, they're a party of feelings, so I'm going to take a page out of their book. It just seems weird to me of all the numbers that it could be. It was this particular individual.
Yeah.
Seems a little strange.
Got a Tyrus hunch. I'm kind of there with you. We'll wait and see what the facts bear out, but I think we'll get to the bottom of it. Tyrus, I want to ask you, you said they're an emotional bunch and you were going to lean into your emotions and your feels a little bit. Your thoughts on their darling Jasmine Crockett. She went to school here in St. Louis at a very, very wonderful, high tuition private school. She is very well educated. She seems to have been successful in her work into getting into politics as a representative now in Texas. She's got a filthy mouth on her. She doesn't back down from it. She insulted Governor Abbott, calling him Hot Wheels. Of course, we understand that Governor Abbott is in a wheelchair. What do you make of Jasmine Crockett? Is she the real deal?
No, she's a joke. She's playing a character. But they all got the memo. The Democrats do everything as they basically this aggressive activist party that's holding the Democratic Party hostage. They all do the same thing. They all there's one email sent out. It was an email sent out like, hey guys, cuss. If we cuss, they'll like us. But they don't learn anything with your fake manhood stuff with Tim Walz that he got laughed at, now he's angry about, and now the new thing is all of them say the F word. And it's out of context. Or she decided that she called him Hot Wheels and thought everyone was going to laugh, and hot mess, and saying he was unattractive. So all the things that they complain about, wasn't it like a few months ago that Marjorie Taylor said something about her hair, and AOC and her flew off the handle about being so disrespectful, that she should be removed for making comments like that. And here you did talking about something. I'm all for making jokes, and I'm all for being funny, but not when not would be if I was a senator, not if I was a congressman, a woman. I'm supposed to speak on something, and we're in the hot ass streets of Texas. The sad part is it was written down, and then when you get called out on it, you get busted for it. It was in poor taste, and I don't apologize because you're not a person of merit. You have no character. You just showed that. You can have a foul mouth and be able to say, like, cussing is an art form. It's a catastrophe, and I'm a cusser.
We know.
I'm an artist and it's done colorfully, and it's word enhancers, I believe, or sentence enhancer. It's like adding just the right amount of garlic to your spaghetti sauce or the paprika to your salmon. The right cuss word is a beautiful thing. But then there's those who don't know how to use the words appropriately. Usually it's people who English is a second language, and they say some interesting combinations of cuss words we're not familiar with. But this is just important. This is whack. It's goofy. It's once again, it's Senator Warren asking her husband if he wants a beer, and he's got his outdoor jacket in the kitchen. It's just these fake setup things. Tim Walz holding a shotgun for the first time in his life. And trying to sell it to like he's an avid outdoorsman. With tags still hanging on the caution, the biggest caution vest they could find, because they didn't want him to get shot. So they do this to themselves.
Yeah.
She's a bad person, and she wants to play the ghetto card. I made a joke about she kept the ghetto till she got the job, and then she started acting out. But also, they're probably telling her to talk this way because, again, they have no respect for their constituents. They're activists trying to get reelected. That's it, trying to find one thing to hang on instead of showing up and showing character. And that's the lesson. Trump showed tremendous character. He was able to look at the way he was president the first 4 years. He worked through. He became better, smarter, calmer, cautious, more open-minded to working with different people. And it's turning into a really awesome 100 days. And Americans are positive and feel good. And the party that's supposed to be serving their people instead of getting involved and help get things right and admitting wrongs and mistakes, they don't have the ability to do that because they're still too busy trying to fleece the American people.
Man. Well, let me ask you this question. Last question before we let you get to it. We're talking about Signalgate, even if Signal even deserves the word gate after it at this point, and Jasmine Crockett. These are the two big things that are really being pushed out of the Democrat Party. You go and talk to real people all over the country at all of these shows that you go sell out everywhere across the United States. Do real people care about either of these issues?
No. They think Crockett's as fake as their hair. And they just don't. And they're like, what are you talking about? The mission went off without a hitch. And you got it 2 hours before. And when it was over, you went and said, hey, I got the plan. That's like me saying, hey, I got the playbook from the Super Bowl. And it was over a day ago. Was it a mistake that people are like, hey, that shouldn't happen? And they moved on with their day. Nobody is like, what is going on? What is happening? Because we don't have videos of people falling out of planes as a result of this. We don't have people crying, asking why the White House won't speak to them about their lost family members. We don't have things like that were a result of this. This was a clerical error, and luckily there was nothing that went further than that. And their answer is, well, it could have been. Well, our phone conversation could go the wrong way, and I could get upset and punch the front of my seat, knock the driver out, and crash into a tree.
Don't do that.
That could happen. It won't happen because we rarely disagree or argue on much. But I'm just saying, you can sit here and play that, connect the dots with anything. And I think the American people are just really sick of it. And I think if this continues, you don't even got to go out and make a commercial. Just run these sound bites. She's calling everybody Hot Wheels, and she's going to be in a fast car with her behind out of politics faster than she can say another dumb, stupid statement and not be adult enough or woman enough to apologize and be like, hey, I was wrong for that. And they'll say, well, President Trump doesn't apologize. And he was held to the highest esteem and constantly criticized and went after and confronted. And we've definitely seen a change in his behavior. But also, he was responding to people who were attacking him. And when you're calling somebody a Russian asset, a spy, and a misogynist and all these terrible things, I think you're allowed to fire back.
Well, Tyrus, we are always grateful. It's always fun to come in and hear your voice filling in for Kill Me today. You did a great job, and we love having you on Thursdays. Go Cardinals.
Go Red Sox, and yes, apparently I have the face for radio.
Not at all. Thank you. We'll see you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye. Regular on Gutfeld, Fox News contributor, host of Maintaining on Tyrus on Outkick. And if you want to read his story, he's got 2 books out that you should read in this order: Just Tyrus and then Nuff Said. We are so grateful. We've had a great relationship with him every Thursday since 2018, I think. And he was coming on our show. I think his main role at that point was being on with Late Nights with Gutfeld. But he has really blossomed into a very important part, in my opinion, of the Fox News lineup, and he's been very loyal to us. It's been great to have him here.
He's somebody that even people who may not know a lot about Fox News are kind of aware of.
Yeah.
He just stands out.
Yeah, in a way.
Well, yeah, he would say he has a gravitational pull.
In a way, we are grateful to have him. Let's take a quick break. We've got the rest of the show open here. Our YouTube live chat poll: how did Goldberg enter the Signal chat? Was it human error? Was it technical malfunction? Or was it a setup? We had somebody suggest in the YouTube live chat that they think Mike Waltz is a rat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen that discussion.
Seen that as part of the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Should we take phone calls? Do people want to talk about it? I don't know. If they don't, we'll just do something else, I guess. We have to, right?
Yeah, so like if we say let's take phone calls and nobody calls, I think we probably just continue to talk.
We'll just cut to the middle name conversation.
Yeah.
if that's what we're talking about when we come back, it means it didn't go well. We'll see if the phones are working. And if you want to call and tell us what you think, is Signal Gate even a gate? Is it even at the qualification level of being gate? Or if you think Mike Waltz is a rat, maybe you think Signal Gate is a gate, but it's completely on the other side, as in somebody's a mole, somebody's a rat. What do you think about it? You think it was human error that Goldberg got entered to the Signal chat? You think it was technical malfunction, or do you think it was a setup? Let us know if you think that this is even an issue or if it's a nothing burger. Here's what you do. You call 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, and we'll take your thoughts on the matter when we come back. Don't go away.
You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way.
Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. This is the Annie Fry Show.
AirComfortService.com. Your comfort zone is important, of course, at home, but did you know that Air Comfort Service is a go-to heating and cooling and insulation service provider for commercial businesses? So if you're somebody who makes those types of calls, decisions, you're highlighting concerns that exist in the workplace, reach out to Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. You can call Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation to get a free second opinion on heat exchanger or compressor repairs. This is important to make sure that when you're investing in that HVAC system in your business, that you're not overpaying, that you're not fixing things that don't need to be fixed, or certainly not replacing things that don't need to be replaced. Air Comfort Service is honest. You can trust them. They are good people. I am a multi-time customer of Air Comfort Service, and I encourage you to give them the opportunity to earn your business as well. 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim. And if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation, so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesidearty.com today to start your dream renovation.
Mark Cox here. Get into the college basketball spirit this March by going to the Range St. Louis West. They have their basketball bonus promo all month long. 3 different baskets set up. You have a chance to get big discounts on firearms, suppressors, optics, and more, or win a free private lesson, a discounted membership, or gift cards. Play basketball and get a bonus when you score. Everybody gets 1 shot a day. Members get 2 shots. 14803 Manchester Road in Baldwin, TheRangeSTL.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
J. Peter Zane, how in the world can some people think that AOC and Bernie Sanders should be the standard bearer moving forward?
Because those are the voices of the 10% that run the party. This is what they think and believe.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Good
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I know I gave it to you months ago. I know you're trying to forget, but between the drinks and subtle things, the holes in my apologies, you know, I'm trying hard to take it back. So if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight.
That his actions were absolutely justified. It's making us safer. It's keeping our ships safe. It's keeping America safe. And the libs can't contest any of that. And so now they're fussing about the fact that who was on the text chain and who wasn't. What these reporters are really mad about is that they weren't on the text chain. They all wanted to be and weren't. Who cares? It was a huge success.
So there's Josh Hawley. We've had Eric Schmidt and Josh Hawley Sound on the show today, both wonderful senators here from the state of Missouri, talking about, you know, throwing out the idea that everyone's freaking out about Signal Gate. I use with air quotes. What is really going on here? If the mission was completed, I think it's not all or nothing. It's not everything is completely fine with it, or it's the worst thing to ever have happened. It's somewhere in the middle, which means there's something that took place that we need to get to the bottom of and ensure it doesn't happen again. And the mission was successful. So there's that. Now, the question is, if there's something that happened that we need to get to the bottom of, what is it that we think that happened? Our YouTube live chat poll for today: how did Goldberg enter the chat? How did he get into that Signal chat? Was it human error? Was it technical malfunction? Or was it a setup? And it feels like every day that we get past this initial report, which we read on the air, was it Monday? Like right when it broke, we brought that to you. We kind of scratched our heads like, did they want this to get out? Was this like a chosen leak by the Trump administration?
Because it's just such a strange person to include in the chat.
Yeah. Why?
A journalist?
So it kind of seemed fishy to us, but we didn't know, and we still don't know. But now people are suggesting that maybe there's a rat in the Trump administration. We asked for your phone calls on this, and fortunately, we got a whole board full of phone calls here. 314-241-9797. If you want to weigh in on this issue, I'll give you about a minute, and you can say what you think, and we'll continue to move on. So when I move on to the next person, you didn't do anything wrong. Just trying to get as many people included in the conversation as possible. 314-241-9797. Let's start with Kelly. Kelly, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. How do you think Goldberg entered the Signal chat?
I have no idea. I don't know how it is. I would need so much more information, and it's so hard to believe anything you hear anymore. I have so little faith that we're actually getting the whole story or the truth, and that's the saddest part about it all, is I've lost faith.
Do you think the story matters?
I don't know. I would need more proof. Yes, I think it definitely matters. It definitely matters. We can't have things like that happening, but if those people up there are so contentious with each other, I just don't know. It's hard to believe what's happening, and I have very little faith that we actually get the real information.
Well, I appreciate.
I'm so appreciative of you guys digging and finding it.
Well, thank
Without
you.
you guys, we would know nothing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, Kelly, for the phone call. I think she's absolutely right. Like, we don't know. So we're kind of asking you what your hunch is. But she gets to the bottom of the concern that we all have is, you don't trust anything that comes out because you know that everybody has an angle, and everybody certainly does have an angle. We have an angle, but we are going to report what we see, and we're going to give you our angle based on what we know and be honest about it. And just a reminder, nobody tells us what to say or think. We get to do that all by ourselves. Mike, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts on how Goldberg entered the Signal chat?
Good afternoon, Annie Fry Show. Mike Goodsell, longtime listener, first-time caller.
Thanks, Mike.
Often on the YouTube chat.
Appreciate that.
Anyway, I'm prior Army, served in Iraq in 04-05, so I do have perspective. First of all, the vitriol that's coming out against Hegseth and Walsh is ridiculous. Walsh is a Green Beret, earned 4 Bronze Stars in combat, so to say that he's not qualified, and so is Hegseth was a infantry platoon leader in Afghanistan and Iraq, so it's not like they just were, driving an ice cream truck or something. They gave him the job. So my thought is that the timeline, how this happened, and who was let into this chat, a person who came up with the whole spreading of the Russia Gate complete lie, and also the whole standing at the graves in in Normandy and saying they were suckers about Trump. That was all made up by Goldberg too.
Yep.
So the fact that he was part of this, and ironically, it happened just before there was already a congressional hearing on national security, that the Democrats could have an opportunity to jump on this. Just reeks of a setup. So
yeah. I mean, when you lay it out that way, Mike, I think that you've got a lot of people who are going to listen to what you're saying and scratch their head and say, well, he's not wrong about that. Mike, thank you for the phone call, and thanks for reaching out to us. We appreciate you.
Love you guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Steve, let's talk to Steve here on the Annie Fry Show. Mike thought it was a setup. How do you think Goldberg entered the Signal chat, Steve?
Well, I think it'll be easy to prove one way or the other. There's a track whenever you put somebody on a chat like that, the number that comes up, whoever enters it, that number comes up that they put that person into the chat. So finding that person will be the easiest thing in the world. I'm not an IT guy, but I know that.
Yeah.
Now, outside of that, I think this is a total nothing burger. The wingnuts, I'll just leave it at that. They don't have anything to talk about. And they think that, sun's shining here, so we can go over here. And,
you think it's a distraction?
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Steve, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. I had just this kind of moment of clarity, because I'm always thinking to myself, like, Ryan, how much do we talk about this? It's one of the main stories, but I still get a say in whether it's one of our main stories. And there are times where I don't talk about thing or bring something up or bring a guest on a particular story that's maybe just now hot, because I want to know more before I crack that open. Or maybe it's been talked about a lot and I'm thinking, like, are we talking about something for the sake of talking about it? And I'm getting to that point with this, but then also the questions that arise about it possibly being a setup from within. That makes it a different kind of story for me.
That becomes more interesting. I completely agree with Steve that this is there was a shiny object and they said, man, we got nothing. Oh, here's something. Let's go all in on it.
For sure.
Let's get to Brian. Brian, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts on Goldberg and how he entered the Signal chat.
Yeah, hi Annie. Thanks for taking my call. I love your show. I think he was put in there. I mean, it just seems to me, we all know how President Trump's first term went, all the Russia and all that. I don't have to go through the whole list. How he was stabbed in the back so many times. And out of all the journalists and all the publications in the United States and around the world, it just happened to go to this one journalist that hates President Trump and this one publication that hates President Trump.
Whoops.
I don't believe in coincidences, and so this is not a coincidence. Somebody had to put that in there, and it's somebody that's still stuck in his administration up there, or the old one, that is trying to do bad for President Trump. That he still needs to weed a bunch of people out of here.
Yeah. Brian, well, we appreciate your phone call. And everybody who hasn't called in, we still have some more calls to get to here. If you want to weigh in on this and you want to weigh in on our YouTube chat, the poll today on our YouTube, if you haven't been yet, go to the YouTube, just youtube.com. You can type in Annie Fry, F-R-E-Y. You'll see we are broadcasting live today. We would love to have you as a subscriber over there. It doesn't cost you anything, just a click. And once you've subscribed, you can vote in that YouTube live chat poll. How did Goldberg enter the Signal chat? Human error, technical malfunction, or a setup? I'm going to take a couple more calls here. Brian, maybe you can pick out some of those comments that we've set aside from folks who are wanting to weigh in on this. Interesting point of view possibly here from Jeff. Jeff, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts on how Goldberg entered the Signal chat. You're a user of Signal?
Yeah, I use it for work, and I worked for the government for 30-some-odd years now. I think it's more of a bad practice thing anyway to be inputting that kind of stuff, even in a secure encrypted app. I think that's where you're going to see a lot of complaints is why did they put something like that even in a secure app? But on our app, only my boss can add people to the chat. So I can't just willy-nilly put somebody in, like, you know how you add somebody to a text on your iPhone and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to forward at all anything. So only the admin person can do it.
Do you have a suspicion on? I mean, I think Mike Waltz was the one who said that on Laura Ingraham. Mike Waltz said, "I set up the chat." So
well, exactly, he would be the only person. Now I'm only one little person in a big government, but the way we use it, my boss, who is the administrator of the chat, she's the only one that can put stuff in there or add people. And you know how it is also when you add on your text on your phone, it's the same way. You could actually, you're inputting people's names and it'll auto-populate at times, and then boom, somebody else is in there and you texted the wrong person.
You know,
so there's a human element as well.
Yeah, which seems like we should be having redundancies that eliminate that from happening in this government level. Do you think that Signal? Do you think that this type of conversation, should there be something proprietary to the United States government? I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk can whip something up that's super secure. Can these conversations be had over something more secure that would be better in this situation, or do they just need to be better Signal users?
Well, I think it's, to be honest, I think you need to be a better Signal user. I mean, obviously, I agree with what our leadership's doing there for sure, but it's kind of a bad practice to be even if it was after the op. I just don't think it's a good thing to put strike package data in a text or anything like that.
I wouldn't doubt if they've learned that lesson, Jeff. I think.
Yeah, and they're human beings. Yeah. I totally get it. Who hasn't made a mistake?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, luckily for us, it worked out well. But anyway.
Jeff, thank you for calling. I appreciate it. It's good insight.
Yeah, enjoy the show. Have a good afternoon.
Take care. You as well. Real quick here, I got to get to Lori. Lori, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your thoughts on how Goldberg got into the Signal chat?
Well, I think it was either human error or the technical problem type thing. Both Trump and Walz apologized while they were doing a television bit, news conference thing. And I know several people want to believe that, no, it had to be Trump's fault or Hexeth's fault. And quite honestly, I would believe all the other people that were on the chat, and not the one Democratic reporter. Because he's only one person. I would believe the rest of them other than this one reporter.
Lori, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate that. That's true. If you think about you've got one reporter, which honestly, what Goldberg did is he just kind of released the stuff. His thoughts and opinions on it aren't really context that matters here. He was on the chat. He got put on the chat. I guess the question, if you think, like several of our phone callers believe here, that it was a setup, was he a part of the setup?
Did he know ahead of time?
Did he have a toe in the water
somebody was going to do that?
You can. I'll put me on it.
Yeah. The case that he was not is that, maybe this has happened before where you randomly put somebody else from your phone in there accidentally, but it wasn't a journalist. And this time it caught him because, oh, hey, it's somebody who published it.
I got 2 more calls left. I've blocked the phone line, so we're not going to get any more on this, but I want to get to Roger and John here. Roger, it's your turn. Your thoughts on how Goldberg entered the Signal chat. What do you think?
Well, I don't know how he entered it, but, that's nowhere here or there. I think it's absurd that this man eavesdropped on a conversation. And I think that's more damning about his character. If I'm in a conversation that's not for me, I'll say, hey, I'm on the wrong chat. I don't like eavesdroppers. And then for him to go out and post it, I think that makes America look worse. It makes him. It's very unpatriotic of him to release this information, in my humble opinion. If you're on the wrong chat line, you should just say, I'm on the wrong chat line. I'm not supposed to be here, and you bow out. For him to sit there like a schoolgirl eavesdropping and then report it, trying to get people in trouble, I think it came out that there was no real information on this chat line. So it's a big nothing burger to steal what Steve said. And I think it's just like what someone else said. It's a new shiny object. They can't talk about the border. They can't talk about the economy. They can't talk about all things going right. They can't talk about prices coming down. So they're looking for any little morsel of negativity to throw at this man. And it's just absurd. We got to all start looking forward. We're in for the next 4 years of prosperity, and God bless. Hopefully, J.D. Vance is elected next. We could be in the golden age, like Trump said, of this country. And I think the manufacturing jobs are going to come pouring into this country with these tariffs. People don't understand tariffs. Tariffs are a good thing. They They push American jobs like you will never believe before. Check back in a year or 2 years, and all the liberals are going to be crying in their ears because this country is going to take off like a rocket, like a SpaceX rocket.
Roger, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. I hear a lot of people shaming Goldberg for doing this. I don't know that him reporting on this as a journalist, I don't know that it's the wrong thing to do. I don't love it because I feel like, well, does it make America look weak? Probably. But at the same time, it shouldn't have happened. That possibility shouldn't have happened. And if the Biden administration had accidentally added Peter Doocy to some sort of conversation like that, do I expect Peter Doocy to keep it quiet? I do not. In any way, shape, or form. I might expect Peter Doocy to approach the situation in a way that doesn't, if it's so bad, if what was shared was so terrible, why is Goldberg like, here it is? So there's a little, in my mind, there's a little hypocrisy of what he did was so bad, it's the worst mess up that this government has ever made. Here's all the information they shared with me. I don't completely believe you. I don't think it should have happened. And I think the fact that it did happen, there are two ways you go about, well, maybe three ways. You say, folks, I'm a reporter and I'm in this chat. I don't know if I'm supposed to be. And they go, oh my gosh, get him out of here. And then they make sure it never happened again and we don't know about it. And how often do those types of things happen? I think if it's a friendly journalist, that's probably how it goes. And they fix the issue. It doesn't become an American story. The administration saves some humiliation and still has the chance to correct the issue. I don't know as a journalist if this falls in your lap, if reporting that it happened is unpatriotic. It's kind of your job.
I don't expect anything from Jeffrey Goldberg or The Atlantic. I expect the worst from those people, in fact.
Yeah.
But I do think it's fair to ask, what is your motivation for publishing this?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just that it makes you and your publication get a lot of eyeballs? Because that is absolutely what it looks like to me. It doesn't look like he had any sort of national security concerns in mind at all.
Let's talk to our last call here before we take a break. We're going really long here. So, John, I wanted to give you a chance to weigh in and have your thoughts be heard before we have to take a break. What do you think about how Goldberg entered the Signal chat?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, 100%. I think it was a mishap on the administration and them using Signal. I mean, I've used Signal. I'm in IT, and it's really secure, and how it works is like you have to add somebody knowingly, and even if you're an iPhone user, you know that I mean, you can see the people in the chat. So the fact that like the conversation even went on that long, even though it was just a few kind of blurbs, shows that, to me, I mean, people weren't paying attention, you know? So, I mean, and that's the bottom line.
You and many other people are like, if you're an iPhone user, well, I, in fact, am not an iPhone user, and I also don't use Signal. So I want to lean in a little bit to your know-how since you use this. If Waltz said that he created the chat, the group chat, so Waltz has said on Laura Ingram's show, I'm the one who created it. Is it possible that his contacts were preloaded and somebody slipped in the wrong number nefariously? Is there any way that when he added this person, I don't know why he wouldn't have said, it said I added, John Doe, and it turns out it was Jeffrey Goldberg. Is there any way that Waltz's contacts would have been preloaded or something to where he wouldn't have realized what he was doing?
No, and Signal is the most secure encrypted app that's out there these days. I mean, their number one, MO is security and stuff. It doesn't just add random people from your phone, and you can set groups to private and public. So even if he could just hop right in there, it means they didn't set the group to private. And if it was private, the admin would have had to add him in. But either way, he shows up on everybody's phone.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that was on the chat should have been able to see him if they just looked at their, who was on it.
Do you have to?
And the other thing,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I mean, in Signal, you create your own username. So Pete Hegseth could have gone by Bambi 2000. You don't have to put in your real name. That's part of the security function of the
Okay.
thing.
All right. Well, we're all learning here, John, and we appreciate your insight on the issue. Thanks for the phone call.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye. We got to get to a break. We're way past time, but appreciate all the phone calls.
Especially John, a.k.a. Bambi 2000.
2001.
If that was his real name.
He's probably Bambi 1999 and was like, Pete, that was my thing.
Yeah, I can't say my name.
Lots going on here on 97.1 today. Nothing else going on in St. Louis at all. Just us talking about Signalgate. And middle names also. Your middle name initial is?
R.
Ryan R. We suspect it's Ryan Wiggins. Brad, your middle initial?
M.
And mine's E. We've got a lot of great suggestions. And like I said earlier, maybe some upgrade opportunities for us here to improve our name. If you want to guess, we're going to give it to you in the 2 o'clock hour. When we come back, let's find out what we think here in the studio about how Goldberg entered the chat. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
When you are looking to buy and sell a home, you want to make sure that you have the very best, and the very best is Tammy Didmore and the Didmore Group. We had them in for X's and O's last week. They're incredibly fun people. I think that matters because the process of going through listing a home, I've talked about my husband and I are hoping to build a house soon. We're waiting for some costs to go down on some certain things before we do that. But just the thought of moving and packing and purging and it's a lot. The process of selling your home and the timing, like how fast are we going to do this? How slow is this going to take? You need somebody who is going to encourage you through the process, who's going to give you facts, give you straight information, but also guide you through a very stress-free process as much as it possibly can be. And when you want to work with somebody who knows what they're doing, they have extensive knowledge of the market, working in both Illinois and Missouri, you want to go with the number one team in the number one office in the Metro East. And that makes the choice very clear. The Didmore Group. They're there ready to take your phone call right now, whether you're ready to do this immediately or you need some time. They'll talk to you, 618-531-4652. They'll be able to gauge your home and give you an honest assessment of what you might be able to expect with your home sale. 618-531-4652. Online at thedidamoregroup.com.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9-all-zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
People chiming in on the phone and on YouTube in the live chat for the live chat poll, which is, how did Goldberg enter the Signal chat? Was it human error, technical malfunction, or was it a setup? Those are the 3 options today. It is 1:51, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This Friday, we're inviting you to have some fish with us. It's another Fish Fry Friday on The Mark Reardon Show. This time we're in Oakville at Queen of All Saints. Visit 971talk.com for info. Fish Fry Fridays, this week in Oakville at Queen of All Saints.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Nothing to see here. Turn that off.
That song always makes me laugh. It's so goofy.
It says on the
Don't
stack,
make it a thing.
It says 100 years, 5 for fighting.
It's just how Mike Waltz put Jeff Goldberg in the Signal chat.
I don't like it.
It said it was one thing and it was somebody else.
I don't like it one bit. National security.
You know who did that?
Carl.
Camel Eggs. We have them all. Ask James. Did James do that?
No. Ethan did the music before he left.
Ethan! I told you it was Camel Eggs. He's a spy.
And not only that, and James could come in here and verify with me that I had him go through and make sure
James is the best of the best.
Yeah, and so we looked at it, and it said 100 years, 5 for fighting.
There's no way it was James. James, you're the best. Come on in.
James is the best of the best. We blame Ethan. Is Ethan a spy?
I guess he is, because Brad said what he did. I checked the music, and he said they were all good. You guys did not send me any music for today's show.
Nothing is happening today other than this show.
See, James is the best.
Show is everything. And if you're watching the show and you see all our apparel, we have dressed in a way that identifies exactly what's important today, which is this show.
This show.
Yeah,
that's it.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see.
You know what I'm seeing right now? Whole bunch of rain.
Yeah. That's the meanest thing you can say.
It's all nasty.
You know, in Bull Durham,
Nasty
where they're
out
saying,
there.
like, praying for rain. And
No.
some days, it rains.
I've never even seen Bull Durham because I don't know what that sport is.
It doesn't even exist either.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing going on.
When people say wild thing, I think of playing cards.
That's okay. I was going to say that's not Bull Durham, but I see what you did there. High fives all around that on today we had a full board of phones on this show and had to stop taking them.
It's because people are interested in the security of the country and
the
the
only thing
future
that
of the
matters-
country.
Go on.
What?
Oh, crap. We ran out of stuff.
Oh, no. 2 minutes shy.
And in the 2 o'clock hour, we'll talk about middle names.
Yay!
Oh.
You want to know my middle name?
Fox News alert. Trump asks Elise Stefanik to withdraw from UN ambassador contention over razor-thin House majority. This is kind of a big deal.
It is a big
Can
deal.
you imagine being Stefanik and being this close to being UN ambassador and then being like, oh,
I'd rather be a House member than UN
you
ambassador.
almost had it.
Wouldn't you?
President Donald Trump announced that he asked Representative Elise Stefanik of New York to bow out of contention to be U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. He cited the House GOP's slim majority, writing on Truth Social, "I have asked Elise, as one of my biggest allies, to remain in Congress to help me deliver historic tax cuts, great jobs, record economic growth, a secure border, energy dominance, peace through strength, and much more, so we can, all caps, make America great again."
Yeah, MAGA.
How could anybody think of anything else going on?
I don't
today?
know.
Listen to this entertainment.
It's great.
It's dry in here.
Yeah, it sure is.
Quote, with a very tight majority, I don't want to take a chance on anyone else running for Elise's seat. The people love Elise, and with her, they have nothing to worry about come Election Day. There are others that can do a good job at the United Nations. Stefanik has been under pressure to take herself out of contention for the role despite appearing poised to sail through Senate confirmation with bipartisan support. This makes me happy.
Me too. I like his statement too. He's supporting Elise Stefanik. He's saying she's great. Elise Stefanik, she's great. Everybody else, disaster. Everybody else who's ever been in the UN, disaster.
Does Trump love the UN?
No.
So
This is the right move. It should have been the move 3 months ago.
to me, the UN is the place where you put somebody who's just a real team player. Because you've got Marco Rubio at the Secretary of State, and he's doing such a wonderful job. I don't know. I admittedly don't know enough about the UN, like that role and how much you actually affect. You got to speak kind of the whole truth to power type of a thing there, but it's super political.
Trump is his own UN ambassador,
What
though.
if he made himself the UN ambassador?
Oh, that'd be fine. I think I'd like that.
What if he did?
He could. He doesn't need a UN ambassador.
Or I don't know. Is it beneath the time of Marco Rubio? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's beneath him.
I actually think that lowering the status of UN ambassador is probably the smartest thing to do.
Agreed.
Middle names next. Don't go anywhere or do anything else this afternoon. We're right here for you.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid with no cost to you, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis and they get paid instantly. This is 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need and your caregiver gets paid instantly. Freedom Care has over 7,000 5-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's free to you through Medicaid, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-597-1749, 314-597-1749, 314-597-1749.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-335-2299. That's 800-335-2299.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
He is withdrawn. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It's not because of controversy, but about the slim House majority for Republicans. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik was nominated to be U.S. ambassador to the UN.
As I always say, it's about the math. There was some concern that they might not have sufficient votes in the House of Representatives because if she were to leave to pass the big, beautiful bill, that's something that's been said around here. They're very concerned about an upcoming set of special elections in Florida. They're down a couple of members on the Republican side of the aisle there, and there's one of those seats that should be clearly a Republican seat, but we always say this in Congress that special elections are just that, special, and they might not be able to hold that seat.
Fox's Chad Pergram on the Hill. President Trump calls Stefanik one of his greatest allies and says he looks forward to her joining his administration in the future. But for now, writing in a social media post, he's asking Stefanik to remain in Congress and that it's essential to maintain every Republican seat to advance his agenda. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says the Trump agenda is destroying critical services.
America is becoming more expensive and less affordable.
The White House has highlighted lower gas and wholesale egg prices, while the president urges Congress to extend his 2017 tax cuts. Police in Nevada just holding a briefing on the suspect arrested in connection with the attack on a Tesla dealership in Las Vegas.
He attempted to mask his identity by wearing black attire, concealing his face, and wearing gloves. The suspect then began shooting the surveillance cameras with what appeared to be a rifle.
Vegas Metro Police Assistant Chief Dory Corin says that's when the word resist was spray painted across the doors before cars were shot at and set on fire with Molotov cocktails. 36-year-old Paul Kim charged with multiple felony counts, including arson, explosives, and property destruction. America is listening to Fox News.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
It's your last chance to get Disney Plus and Hulu together for just $2.99 a month.
Definitely a very smart move.
Get both and watch Star Wars Andor Season 2 and Mufasa the Lion King on Disney Plus.
There's a lot of stories with all of us.
On Hulu, it's the new season of The Handmaid's Tale and A Complete Unknown.
Give a warm welcome to Bob Dylan.
Don't miss your last chance to get Disney Plus and Hulu together for just $2.99 a month for 4 months. New and returning subscribers, 18 plus only. After 4 months, plan auto renews at $10.99 a month until canceled. Offer ends 3/30/25. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A springtime unsettled weather pattern that will take us right through the weekend. Going through our Thursday afternoon, partly to mostly cloudy skies, breezy. We'll keep an eye out for some scattered showers, 72 for the high. Tonight, clouds dominate, some scattered showers, a rumble of thunder possible, 60. Friday, windy and warm, mostly sunny skies, fast warm-up, peaking at 80 degrees Friday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Who has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis? Is the Post-Dispatch Window Retailer of the Year, J.D. Power Award winner 5 years in a row, and has the nation's best warranty coverage? Renewal by Andersen, that's who. Find out about our huge 31-day sale at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1924. rbastl.com or 314-332-1924. Renewal by Andersen, a better way to a better window.
It's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and I want you to beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. They were just in my home recently. The carpets are nice and clean. You can feel the difference in the home, and you too can step into a fresher, cleaner home this spring with Zero Res. Let's face it, spring is time for a renewal. Let Zero Res help you refresh your home with clean carpets, fresh floors, and improved air quality. Let's do the air ducts, right? Because your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. So here's the deal for the month of April with Zero Res when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. 3 rooms starting at $119. You could take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Right now, call Zero Res. Book it today, 314-474-2020. Ask for the 97.1 FM Talk special or mention my name. 3 rooms starting at $119, $75 off the air duct cleaning package. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Are you looking for an easy way to get a daily detox? Active Liver is available in both the delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle of your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
This Friday, we're inviting you to have some fish with us. It's another Fish Fry Friday on The Mark Reardon Show. This time we're in Oakville at Queen of All Saints. Visit 971talk.com for info. Fish Fry Fridays, this week in Oakville at Queen of All Saints.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. 2:06 here, and is it raining outside right now?
Probably.
It looks really gray. Windshield wipers going on that car, so I guess so. Rainy. We've got a baseball game for my son tonight in Belleville, and I'm hoping that they get to play it, but I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen. I know it's on turf.
Well, I would think that you would probably get to play it because they are going to be doing great things this evening. I have nothing to add to this conversation.
Yep, I can tell. We were talking a little bit about Elise Stefanik's removal from being considered for the UN position and the actual position in and of itself. Elise Stefanik was top-tier leadership in the House of Representatives, and she gets picked. And golly, you remember when it was like Mike Waltz is going to go do something, and Matt Gaetz is going to go, and Elise Stefanik, we're like, we got a 2-seat majority. Stop it. it seems as though most of that has been yanked back.
This one makes the most sense because the other ones were out of Florida. Mike Waltz, Matt Gaetz, those are Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Those were going to be probably easy to do special elections. But Kathy Hochul's been playing a lot of games in New York with that seat from the Stefanik, so it doesn't surprise me that they're finally pulling this thing back. I am a little surprised that it took this long because Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, has been saying for months that she was going to mess around with that election and really, throw a wrench into it and try to make it as difficult as possible for that special election to happen at all. So this needed to happen.
What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, I'm with Ryan on this one. I think that it's probably a good thing that Trump is pulling her back and that they'll, I mean, wouldn't you expect Democrats to be playing games with this sort of thing to try to throw something, especially as close as the House is, to throw it in their own favor? So, yeah, I'm with Ryan on that.
I keep going back to our YouTube poll for today is how did Goldberg enter the signal chat, human error, technical malfunction, or a setup? All of these things that are bubbling up to the surface in these grandstanding at this intelligence hearing that took place 2 days ago in the Senate, yesterday in the House. It all comes to the House of Representatives in 2026. If the Democrats don't take the House, the Senate map looks super favorable to Republicans, and this is after a cycle where the map looked super favorable to Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see yet, we're only 2 months into this presidency, I don't see yet any massive failure from this administration. In fact, Signalgate is maybe the first blip in the whole process that has caused a little bit of a tapping of the brakes of, my gosh, what are the Democrats going to do? They're in complete and total disarray. The House is within reach, and they need something to persuade some of these purple districts to go blue in a setting where normally that first term and the midterm ends up being favoring the oppositional party. There is no way that come November 2026, people are talking about Signalgate.
Oh, no. No. In fact, when we were talking about it on Monday, I didn't even think we'd be talking about it now. But this really is, though, a good example of the continued strength, I will say, of the mainstream media to push a narrative. They're losing that strength, but they still exist. They can still do it. And this is exactly how they do it. They still have the levers of power across all the major networks, other than Fox. They still have the major newspapers. And so they will grab something and push talking points. Sometimes they're actual Democrat talking points. Other times they're just what they come up with. And if they decide something is a story, this is what's fascinating to me about media, is that you can make people focus on something, but you can't make them think what you want them to think. That's what the research has always showed, that you can make a story more important than it needs to be or bury a story the other way, but you can't necessarily influence the opinion as much as you think you can on that story. So it's the story selection that they still have a lot of power in.
Well, I was going to say, in what you're saying there, you can actually, I would say you could control what they're thinking, because if that's the only place that they're hearing that story, then it's the only information that they have on it. They're not weighing it against what other places or people, or even if they haven't even heard of it or thought about it themselves. So like the Hunter Biden story would be a great example of this. We just don't talk about it, and they're not going to hear it anyplace, and so then people don't have an opinion on it. But when they did have an opinion on it, it wouldn't have gone the way they wanted it to go.
Does average America even know about this story? I mean, honest question.
No.
I didn't think so either.
No. Why? What is the average? I mean, good grief. If you ever watch Jesse Waters, you probably don't.
Not much.
My favorite thing is when he goes, I love man on the street stuff. I love it. He goes somewhere in downtown New York, or he's gone to spring break and he's on the beach. And he, like, the first question he asks one of these beach going college kids is, do you think it was the right move for Trump to dismantle the Department of Education? And they'll be like, no, I don't know that that's necessary. And then they go, who was the first president of the United States? And this person literally said George Bush. Back to back, those are great questions. Now, if you're in front of a camera and you're in your bikini or in your swim trunks and you're on the beach and maybe you have had a drink or two because you're on spring break,
we
whatever,
all find ourselves in these situations.
Sometimes it's easy to confuse George Washington and George Bush.
Yeah.
But when you talk to real people about this stuff, I literally had a conversation with my best friend. She's my best friend. I told the story maybe a month ago. And it was when the Epstein files were going to be released, which we all know how that ended. And I'm like, did you hear that the Epstein files are going to be released? And she looked at me, she goes, what? I go, do you know who Jeffrey Epstein is? And she's like, no, is he bad? And I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm envious of her. I'm envious of being able to, like, how do you not know that? That's a huge story that should cut through politics and red and blue and Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself memes. Like, how? And these people exist. And she is a better person than I am. Like, I would be her. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. I'm envious of that understanding. If you had, if you went up to somebody and was like, have you heard about Signalgate? Pete Hegseth and Mike, like, they don't even know these names. Most people can't even name who the vice president of the United States is. This stuff doesn't matter. And when you explain it to them in a way that's supposed to get them worked up, they're like, I don't care. This does not affect my daily life. Oh, they released war plans and openly communicated classified information to a reporter. Did people die? No, the mission was completely successful. Okay. I mean, it's hard to get people worked up about it. In the meantime, if you're somebody who pays a lot of attention to this, both sides of the aisle, of course, there's a political angle here to play for the Democrats. I don't blame them for playing it. I would expect them to play it. I just don't think it's working. I can't think of anybody who is paying attention to the news who did not vote in the last election. How do you not vote in the last election and pay attention? If you didn't vote, or if you voted for Trump, I can't think of a single person in my life that would be like, I really regret my decision.
After the Signal chat?
Yeah. I mean, after anything. He has very publicly done everything he said he was going to do, as much as you can fit in the span of 2 months. This is a non-mover of the needle in any way, shape, or form. Now, if they can push it, and then what ends up happening, they've planted all of these seeds, and they're seeds. They're not in full bloom. They're seeds. Because they need to constantly remind you of how untrustworthy, unpatriotic, deceitful, orange, whatever it is that they hate about Donald Trump. They have to constantly remind you, oh, that's still the case. So if you did dabble, if you did get an article served to you, you'd be like, oh, it sounds like that's still a crap show. And then you move on with your day with things that are more important to you. So it's kind of like you need another hit of Orange Man Bad. You don't really need context. You don't really need details. You just need another hit. And this kind of serves that purpose. That somehow or another he doesn't have America's best interest at heart. But I mean, honestly, this to me doesn't even touch Donald Trump.
It really doesn't at all, because he wasn't included in the chat. People are like, oh, his judgment. How could he select Mike Waltz, who would put a wrong number into the Signal chat? There is, if this is the worst scandal that we experience in the first 100 days, this might be the most successful 100 days America's ever seen. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't see at all a situation that comes out of this where Democrats gain from this politically. If it happened in October, maybe some people would be a little more motivated to show up, but it's a midterm election, so less people vote in midterm elections. If this is supposed to be a political boon for the left, it's going to fizzle so fast. There are other things that the Trump administration is doing that are adherent to what he said he would do that I think may not materialize. If the possibility exists that it doesn't materialize the way that they thought it would materialize, and I think the tariffs is one of those things. But I'm willing to put my trust in Donald Trump because I think he knows way more about business and deals and economics than I do. That's for certain. And he's surrounded himself with people who very much so understand the concepts of economics and trade and all of that. And he has an angle. And I think that the direction that this country has been headed is the wrong one. I think the end goal, which Trump has been very clear about when it comes specifically to tariffs, is that we need to build American, we need to buy American, and we need to create American jobs that are in the private sector, that are creating things. Not look at those jobs numbers and then you find out what percentage of them were government jobs.
All.
And what percentage of them that were government jobs didn't need to be there. I mean, you're paying Peter or robbing Peter to pay Paul in that instance. And you're just doing it for a political talking point.
Yeah.
At the consequence of the American taxpayer. And they know that. They understand that. Your tax bill is super high. I know if you live in the state of Illinois, you have the highest tax burden in the country. You feel like your income tax burden is too high. If you work in the city like we do, you're paying income tax for the city. I mean, it never ends. They never find your last penny. They're like, you can always find one more. And people are sick and tired of it. So I trust Donald Trump because his experience and his perspective is different than the rest of them. The Democrats understand how to maintain and grow government. When you're Joe Biden and you've been in government for 5 decades, your entire livelihood is based on procuring, expanding government. That isn't what is best for the American people. It's what's best for you and the people who are in your orbit. We call that the swamp. And that's just not the viewpoint. It's not been the message and the focus of Donald Trump since escalator, day one.
Point of contention? No. You're not going to allow it?
No.
Point of contention, I think the Bidens didn't just expand government to expand government. They also had 20 LLCs with nobody's name on them.
Are you saying that they were in private sector?
I think that they might have involved not just the American government, like other governments, other businesses internationally. I just wanted to point that out. That's all.
I feel like, well, I should say, when it comes to exposing all of those things, Crossfire Hurricane is going to be exposed. He has just said that all of those details are going to come to light. People are saying that's going to be implicating for Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. I will wait to see it. My breath is not being held. Is it important to release those things now and get those things out in the open now? Because if Donald Trump is on the other side of a midterm election, man, that 2 years is kind of Trump's playground.
Oh, yeah.
J.D. Vance or whoever is next up might feel differently. But Donald Trump, especially if he has a majority of Republicans in the House, Donald Trump will have earned those last 2 years to do within the confines of the Constitution whatever he darn well pleases. Within the confines of the Constitution. Did you all hear me say that? Because that's an important note.
I heard that. I noted it.
Did you feel that?
No.
I heard it. Said it more elaborately.
Did you feel that?
I didn't feel that. Oh my gosh. It's so deep.
The one reason why I have just a little. It's not that Trump has swung and missed on this. It's that I think he's taken a pitch. Is the budget? That's the one thing that I think that he's waited out that needs to be solved. That I do believe.
I actually
that
think
their goal is to solve it.
I think him waiting it out is. I don't think he's waiting it out for political reasons.
I don't either.
I think he's waiting it out because he knows he's got this one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow, because opportunity comes once in a second term. Yo.
Yeah. That's, I think, as I understand it, that is Brad's middle name. Starts with an M.
M.
Marshall Mathers. One word.
Yeah. So let's take a break. Let's talk about middle names when we come back.
Brad Marshall Mathers Range.
Range? Okay. My favorite so far suggested is Brad Mountain Range. Quick Rick says Brad Mid Range.
I like that.
You like that?
I like that, yeah.
I said my middle initial was E, and some jerks on our chat said Annie Extra Large Fry. What the hell is that?
I will take any opportunity to make fun of Annie. That was over the line.
That was over the line.
I'm not even going to do that.
And he's good with calling me mid.
Yeah, I am.
That's all you need to know. You guys' anniversary is coming up. It's worth mentioning. We'll
Me
be right
and Brad?
back. Yeah.
No.
How'd Goldberg enter the signal chat? Get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote human error, technical malfunction, or a setup. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
RulerFoods.com. Save on your grocery bill at Ruler Foods and find the Ruler Foods closest to you if you haven't gone there recently or maybe ever. Find your Ruler Foods online at rulerfoods.com by putting your zip code into the website. And you'll see that they're all over the bi-state region. And the convenience of a Ruler Foods and the savings of Ruler Foods is definitely worth your time. If you haven't gone before, just maybe don't even go when you really need like the big grocery shopping trip. I don't know how often you do that. It seems like we go grocery shopping every other day in our house, but don't go necessarily for the first time when you need a bunch of things. Go check it out. Go experience it. Check out the very fresh produce that they have for less. Fresh strawberries, 1 pound package, $2.49 each. Right now you can save on Jack's pizzas as well. Must have in the freezer for those nights when you don't really want to work on making dinner. 2 for $6. You can save on 73% Kroger lean ground beef sold in a 3-pound roll, just $3.33 a pound. Ruler Foods is there to help you make your dollar stretch even further. Find your Ruler Foods online at rulerfoods.com.
Hi, it's Mark Cox. If you're thinking about selling your home, I know you have a ton of questions. Fact is, selling your home in this real estate market isn't as easy as it used to be. Just look at the headlines. One small mistake can cost you thousands. So before you sell, take a few minutes and get to know Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, just like I have. She is St. Louis real estate expert. I've been telling you about Gloria for over 5 years now. She has written guarantees that'll give you certainty and the most money in today's uncertain market. And you're always in the driver's seat. You know exactly how much you'll make on the sale of your home from the very start. That's because Gloria will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or Gloria will buy it. Take it from me. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Again, that's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
It's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and I want you to beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. They were just in my home recently. The carpets are nice and clean. You can feel the difference in the home, and you too can step into a fresher, cleaner home this spring with Zero Res. Let's face it, spring is time for a renewal. Let Zero Res help you refresh your home with clean carpets, fresh floors, and improved air quality. Let's do the air ducts, right? Because your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. So here's the deal for the month of April with Zero Res when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. 3 rooms starting at $119. You could take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Right now, call Zero Res. Book it today, 314-474-2020. Ask for the 97.1 FM Talk special or mention my name. 3 rooms starting at $119, $75 off the air duct cleaning package. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us, and we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The big news of the day is that Donald Trump has removed Elise Stefanik. He's asked her, I guess it's just the polite way of saying, Elise Stefanik is not up for UN ambassador anymore. She's going to stay in the House and do her House thing.
Yeah, I think he can withdraw the nomination, can't he? That's his
I'm sure he can, but I think that you give her the respect to withdraw her own name as opposed to going kick her out.
Get out. Get back in that house.
We talked a little about this earlier in the show, and we have, depending on how this goes, this could become quarterly, maybe monthly segment that we would do on the show. But I was thinking about things that men do or experience in life or know. This is kind of just like proof that men and women are different. Women do things, experience things completely different, obviously, than men. And I was thinking about doing a segment where we ask each other questions and in the most respectful, appropriate ways explain from the other gender side, because there are two genders, two sexes, that we would enlighten the other sex about said things. And you said that you have some questions?
I do.
And if you have questions as a listener, you get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, join us there, and you can ask those questions of the boys in the room or of the girl in the room. And I think in an adult, respectful way, maybe we can answer some of these questions. Or maybe I'll just get in trouble with my boss after this. He's not listening today.
Nope.
Not at all. I bet Trisha is.
I don't know.
Trisha, you're on our side. Shh. Anyway,
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yes. And it's based on our earlier conversation.
Okay.
Do women look at other women who do not wear makeup and think, ooh, yeah, you go, like girl power, you're doing great? Or is it like you're showing everybody up?
Because they're not wearing
Because
makeup?
they're not wearing makeup. Like we all have to do this. Now you're busting the whole thing.
I like this question because I noticed every day we have, I think Mark Cox watches, is this channel 2 or 4?
4.
Drew Barrymore. In the one, is it the 1 o'clock hour?
Mark Cox watches it.
Mark loves Drew Barrymore. That's all he talks about.
He just TiVos it.
That's how he and I forgot your name, Ryan.
My name's Ryan.
That's how he and Ryan sit
Just
in their
call me
office.
fella.
They don't even have 2 desks. Ryan and Mark Cox are just like elbow to elbow.
Yeah. You ever seen a Groucho Marx movie? It's like that. We do that with the mirror.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They sit across the desk from each other.
No, you don't. You're always, never mind. I'm not going to say it like that.
It's like duck soup.
She looked like she had barely any eye makeup on. And I think what was happening is that she didn't have fake eyelashes on. And so she looks undone. But I think she's pretty. So when women see other women and they're not doing a whole lot of makeup thing, every woman probably experiences this a little bit differently. I probably notice more often when a woman is wearing a ton of makeup or do a ton of things than I do when they're not wearing a lot. I wear makeup for this show. Like if these guys can vouch for this, I pretty much do hair and makeup in the seconds to minutes before the show goes live.
Yes.
Can confirm.
Confirmed.
Can you tell them every day before the show starts our mini conversation that we have?
She uses the curling iron on her hair.
Yeah.
That's what that is, right?
Yes.
Or it's a straightening? I don't even know.
It's a
curling iron because your hair's straight.
I have a wave.
Okay. I see. These are things I don't know. This is why we're having the conversation.
Yeah.
You use that thing and then you set it down and you go hot.
I point at Ryan every day. I point at him and I say hot.
Because my inclination is that anytime anybody lays anything down, I grab it.
Mm-hmm. I think that when women see other women not wearing makeup, I don't think they think anything of it. I think women will judge much more heavily other women who are way over the top.
Over made up.
I have baby wipes in my car so that after the show gets done, especially because I often go to like youth practices or whatever, I wipe all that stuff off my face. I have forgotten to do that a couple of times when I've gone and I've had to leave here and go straight to the gym to work out with my trainer and my mom. And every once in a while I'm in the gym and I see myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh, they are going to be hard judging me. Because it looks like I put on a ton of makeup to go lift weights.
Okay.
I judge me when I see the makeup, and then I get a towel and I take my face off, and then I have to almost throw the towel away because it's so gross.
Oh, that phrase always gave me the creeps when I was a kid.
Take my face off?
Oh, I got to go paint my face or put my face on. I'm like, what does that mean?
No.
It's weird. Are you
Can
wearing
I ask
a mask?
a question?
Yeah.
On behalf of women.
Okay.
To men. How do you stand next to each other at urinals and do your business and just do your business?
You mostly don't talk.
But you don't stand next to one another if possible.
But you would if you had to.
If you had to.
Well, I mean, in ours, there's just two. So
yeah,
you
but
have
there's
to.
dividers.
So you just
there's dividers.
pee on the other side.
Yeah, you just go pee in the sink because it's uncomfortable. But if there's multiples, you definitely try to skip urinals between each other.
As far away as you can, and then you split the gap each way.
But wouldn't you not? I mean, if you went as far away as you can, don't you still have to leave a courtesy middle urinal that would leave space? It's like parking.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that to me is the most courteous thing you can do, is not to go the furthest away. Because if there's a weird number of them and then you just made it, if there's 4, for instance, the worst thing you can do, or even more than that, 6, is go to the far end, because then you're forcing somebody to stand next to somebody who comes in after you.
Chris says avoid eye contact or other contact. I mean, what happens? How close is it? What about when there's a trough? Wow.
The trough is kind of fun. You don't see those as much. Those were like Bush beard days of the 80s.
There is no thing in womanhood that compares to peeing next to a fellow woman in a trough.
No?
Nothing.
What about doing your makeup together in the bathroom?
Not the same.
No?
No. Nuh-uh.
The trough thing is fun, but you still don't talk, though. I really don't think, the only time you ever would talk to somebody while at a urinal or peeing at all is if you had just walked in with them, or you say something right when you walk in. Once the peeing begins, it's kind of.
Are you
done.
seeing? I mean,
done.
I know you're not supposed to look, and I'm not supposed to make contact with each
Definitely.
other, but are you
no
seeing?
contact?
Are you seeing each other's?
No.
No. In fact, if
there's 3 places you look. You look straight down, you look straight ahead, or you look straight up, and you narrow your vision as much as you possibly can.
George says, Andy, men in urinals, eyes forward, unless you're commenting on someone's watch.
No, what the heck are you talking about, George?
Nice watch.
Where are you from?
Nice.
Are you an American?
What are you doing if you're at let's just say the Blues game, and you're going to the bathroom in there, and someone says, hey, that's a nice watch.
I think you just keep moving on. You're like, whoa.
What if you're midstream?
Then it's maybe a fight. You actually might throw down. You'd finish first, but then you'd go, hey, buddy, what the hell was that? Like that's a problem. You'd have to address it or just get out of there.
Nice watch.
Nice watch.
You need to have an answer for that that's like super technical.
No.
You need to like explain what kind of Rolex it is and how long you had to wait to get it, but it's
Ryan's got a Hello Kitty watch on.
I think I'd probably say something like, yeah, it's really nice, except when I'm holding it down here while I'm peeing and you're looking at it. Don't do that.
You got another question?
I'm not wearing a watch, you freak.
I did. I'm not wearing a watch. Okay. How about what is it like to lose your last name?
That's an interesting question.
Is it an honor, or are you like, do you mourn the loss of your identity?
Well, I can only speak for me. And I'd love to, if anybody else weighs in, females who have gone through this process, comment on the YouTube live chat. But I would definitely say I mourned the loss of my identity. Now, obviously not in a position where I like had regrets about marrying my husband. He's great. But I still to this day, like this show is built on my husband's last name. And yes, it's mine. And I have married into the best family. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I have a whole identity as somebody else. And to me, that person is like, doesn't exist anymore. And I am now this, which is honestly like, not to be like this about it, but that's almost, well, it's biblical that I would leave my family and I would join together to start a new family. And you leave behind what was and you join in to create something new. There's probably a time in my life where like this kind of just obstinate feminist version of me would have been like, there should be a way to not have to shed that identity. And why does the woman have to do it all the time? Well, because the man's not going to do it. And somebody has to do it because you do have to be willing to come together and make a new family. But it was more leading up to it. It was sad for me to think that I wasn't going to be that person anymore. And that I was going to have this new name. And like, can you imagine just changing your name? Can you imagine just having a new name?
No, I can't. That's why I ask. It's strange.
It's really strange. And it's a pain in the ass for the government to change everything. Sorry to get that one out, but it's been 20...
That's okay. I said hell.
We're almost Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard, but it's 100% worth it. So I like that question because it is something that women have to do and go through that men don't.
Yeah, it's just, I think about that with my wife. She left and she's a teacher. So people call her Mrs. Wiggins all the time.
Now, my name is on the show, but people know me everywhere more as Annie than Fry. Here's the other thing. There are about 602 Frys in like Highland, Illinois. And I think I'm probably by marriage related to all of them. But I can't explain it. So people will often tell you stories about your family that you've married into. And my maiden name is not nearly as frequent in this area as Fry is. And I'm like, I'm only like contractually obligated to know 2007 and later of the Frys. So I don't know. That's another part of it, which is just, you marry into a family. My husband married into a family, and he loves my family. I love his family. But it is there's a bit of, I would say, mourning that goes along with it. So
it's fun being on the radio because when you find out how many people you're related to.
That's true. Well, I have a few more questions. You guys might have a few more as well. If people want to submit them, when we come back, it's middle name time. We're going to reveal the middle names of the people on the show here. Now, we've told you that Brad has a middle name starting with an M. Ryan's middle name starts with R. My middle name starts with E. Here's some suggestions from the listeners. Brad Mountain Range, Annie Erica. Doug says Annie's middle name is obviously the very popular mid-'80s American name, Esmeralda. Ender says Annie Ezekiel Fry. Josh says Annie Einstein Fry. It's a beautiful name. And Russell says Annie Esther Fry. Let's see what y'all think. You can leave your comments there. And also, if you have some questions for the opposite sex, leave those in the Annie Fry YouTube chat. If you like this segment, we will pull the curtain back a little bit more frequently and try to stack your questions up for the next time we do this. Let's take a quick break. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. How'd Goldberg enter the chat? We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
CiviaLaw.com. If you are looking for somebody to guide you through the process of establishing your estate plan, you need an expert. You need somebody who knows the ins and outs of protecting your estate, of protecting your assets, of placing your assets in a position where they're going to avoid probate, where you're going to avoid unnecessary tax burdens. I mean, listen, I've heard the stories over and over and over again from Todd Civia, who I have my trust established through. When you work with Civia, he's going to end up saving you money in the long haul with making sure that your estate plan is protected. Another situation that often comes up, and if I'm talking to you about this and this sounds familiar, you need to reach out to Todd Civia, is families are complicated, assets are complicated. If you have like a long-time estate and you want to make sure that you protect land or physical assets, and maybe you can spread out the financials a little bit differently. When those situations are complicated, you need to know what your options are. And Todd Civia knows what your options are. He's in Missouri, he's in Illinois, and he's online at CiviaLaw.com. But you can call him directly at 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. Call my friend Todd Civia. Tell him Annie sent you online at CiviaLaw.com.
Do you ever wonder if you've saved enough to retire? Discover how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey guys, it's Dave Glover here. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience, and they're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing your Social Security, paying for health care, and more. There's no cost. We would ask that you bring 3 canned goods that we're going to pass on to the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. So you have 2 jobs when it comes to retirement, in my humble opinion. One is saving the money, putting it away. And then the other, just as important, is how do you take it out and what do you do with it after that? Find out at Retirement Planning 101. Simply call 314-350-8110. Again, no money necessary. 314-350-8110. 350-8110.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number 1 in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. paid for by Bayer.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
We're about to find out the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. Thanks for calling in and commenting all day. It's how did Goldberg enter the Signal chat? Was it human error, technical malfunction, or was it a setup? Let us know what you think by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube, and today's date will come up. That is where you vote once you click on today's date. 2:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
To see your beautiful face anymore, I stare at a picture of you and listen to the radio. Hope there's a conversation. We both admit we had it good, but until then, it's alienation. I know that much is understood. And I realize if you ask me how I'm doing, I would say I'm doing just fine. I would lie and say that you're not on my mind. But I go out and I sit down at a table set for two, and finally I'm forced to face.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I like the song. I sometimes have to remember to do the show when we play good music that I like. So we were asking each other questions that one sex may understand a little bit more than the other. And if you enjoy that, you can also go to AnnieFryShow.com and contact the show through the website there. I built that website and manage it myself, and those emails come directly to me. So if you ever want to talk to the show, there's also a survey that you can fill out at AnnieFryShow.com that lets you give us feedback on the show, what you think, what you like, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. We can handle it. Reach out to us at AnnieFryShow.com. You can listen to podcasts there as well. Let's get to the middle question, or the middle name question that has been. What brought this up? Was it the?
I don't remember.
Oh no, it was Your Wiggins America. Said you sound smarter when you use a middle initial.
Oh yeah, use a middle initial. It makes you sound smart. Yep.
My middle initial is E, so Annie E. Fry sounds kind of weird.
Yeah, it just sounds like you're holding the name too long. Annie.
Just for emphasis.
Yeah.
Ryan Wiggins.
Yep, I'm an R.
Read some of the
Sure.
thoughts from
Here's
the
a
audience.
few comments. One is from Rick, says Ryan Richard. Purple Ambo says Ryan
Richard?
Rutherford.
I'm going to shorten that one. Go on.
Info Dude says Ryan Rapunzel. And I
It's
think
the
this one might
locks
be
of
my
hair.
favorite from Russell, Ryan Reynolds. Wiggins.
Everyone confuses you guys all the time.
Yeah. Now that's for me.
How come you think Russell at the end wrote LOL?
I don't know. That's like Esquire.
Oh, it's a distinction.
Ryan Reynolds Wiggins.
Yes.
LOL.
It's so that people know you're better than them.
He's laughing at you, not
Got it.
with you.
Exactly.
Looking for you guys is there's a whole bunch, but I'm trying to narrow them down.
Everybody likes to pick on Ryan.
Brad, Martha Stewart range. Vicky says Annie Emily, Bradley Mitchell, and Ryan Robert.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It says in parentheses for Bob Wiggins.
For Bob Wiggins. I like this one from Chris. Annie effing Fry.
Spelled E-F-F-I-N-G.
That's great.
Who told you, Chris?
JC says Brad Michael.
Annie effing Fry.
David says Annie Elizabeth. Jackie says Ryan Ronald, Brad Matthew, and Annie Elaine.
That's the one I saw that I thought was a good upgrade.
We've
It's
got
not Elaine, but I like it.
Dan says Ralphie for me.
Ryan
Ralphie. It couldn't just be Ralph. I mean, why did it be Ralphie?
Well, you know the answer to that.
It's just more fun. Yeah, that's the bulk of them. There's more, but they're coming in pretty fast.
So did somebody get...
Brad Moonbeam. There we go.
From Harsh Truth,
From
so you
Harsh.
know it's real.
Yeah.
Just yes or no, Brad, did somebody get your name right?
Somebody did.
Did somebody get your name right?
Yes.
Somebody got mine right as well. Did you want to guess?
Yes. I'm going to guess. I've narrowed it down for you.
Of the options or just of the E names?
Of the
or words?
Of any E names. For you, I think it's either Annie, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, gosh.
Engelbert, or Eggman. But I went with, my top choice was Adele.
Adele. It's Edel.
With an E.
It's on mine.
Yeah. Adele. Adele. Do you have picks for Annie?
Yeah, I have a couple here. One would be Annie Edith.
Edith, yep.
I think Edith sounds like a real sassy lady.
She does.
Don't you think, like, when you think of Edith, you're like, she's seen a few things and she's done a few things.
She doesn't just have cats.
But she still makes pie.
I was going to say.
She grows them.
Edith has one of those scooters and she moves you out of the way with her cane.
Mm-hmm.
That's very graphic.
Is
that it?
She's seen some things.
It's like the only possibility?
No.
How about Edith?
You're just looking into my future, dang it.
Yeah. Elizabeth is one that I would think, but with a Z, not an S.
That's oddly specific.
For Brad, I have as my top options Molten, Mordor,
Range.
Machete. The number one, though, the one that I
Machete would be
really
an
think.
upgrade.
Yeah, the one that I really think it is Mandrew.
Mandrew.
Yeah? Did I get it?
How do you come up with this stuff?
I just thought it sounded cool. If I were naming my kid Brad, I would have named him Brad Mandrew. I think that's a fail on Brad's parents' part.
All right, well, we can talk to them about it.
They should call in.
What were you thinking when you named him Brad? Fill in the blank here.
Why didn't you choose Mandrew or Mordor?
All right, Brad, what's your middle name?
It's Michael.
Congratulations.
Yay! Wow, neat.
Ryan?
Mine is Rambo.
Ryan Rambo.
Rambo.
Yeah,
Ryan Rambo Wiggins.
Yeah, Rambo. No, it's actually, I left out initial GR. It's Ryan G. Rover Grover.
It's a good thing the show's over. I hope it's not over.
It's Robert. That was very good logic from Vicky,
Robert.
who said, "Oh, if your dad's named Bob, then it's going to be Robert."
You know, it's kind of hard to say R's and W's together. If you're saying it quickly, you've got to think a little bit more about not making your R's W's and W's R's. And your parents are like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
hold my beer."
Here we go. Reading, writing, arithmetic.
For a kid who can't say his R's, how did it take you a while at all?
Yeah, it did. I was super, but they went for it. You know,
Ryan
they're like,
Robert
this is going to be
Wiggins?
so cute, and it was.
Did you see what my daughter said last night? I posted it on Twitter and on Facebook, on X and on Facebook. My son or my husband was, Molly always falls asleep on Jared. It's just the way it goes. Don't come at me about, you need to have him fall asleep. Just, no, she's our last. We're doing it our way. She falls asleep on Jared. She sleeps for an hour while we watch TV or news or whatever we're doing. And then he goes and puts her in bed. And while he was laying her down in her bed, she stirred and she woke up and she looked at him and said, I need to lay by somebody to protect my dreams.
That sounds like it's from a script.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
you
amazing.
wouldn't believe, you'd be like, that's adorable and not real.
Yeah.
I need someone to protect my dreams.
That sounds like something a blogger was like, oh, I'm going to write this. It's prose.
So she slept with us all night.
Yeah, she wins.
That's how that went. He came in and he goes, Annie. I was already laying in bed. He's like, Annie. I laid her down on the bed and she said, I need someone to protect my dreams. And I'm like, and here she is. He's like, here she is. You win. All right, my middle name is Elizabeth, but I am thinking about upgrading to Elaine or Edith because I want to be her someday. That sounds great.
Eggman.
Eggman is a close second for the upgrade. I haven't had to change my middle name, but yes, of course, my last name changed with marrying my wonderful, wonderful husband. YouTube live chat poll. How did Goldberg enter the signal chat? You guys, real quick. Human error, technical malfunction, or a setup? Ryan?
Human error.
Brad?
Setup.
I'm leaning setup. 3% of you think it's a technical malfunction. 30% say human error, and 67% believe that they were set up. That's kind of crazy to me. Woo! Well, we'll continue to cover it as it happens. You know, the left will be melting down about it. We'll see what happens. But keep it here for Mark Reardon next on 97.1 FM Talk.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
Who has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis? Is the Post-Dispatch Window Retailer of the Year, J.D. Power Award winner 5 years in a row, and has the nation's best warranty coverage? Renewal by Anderson. That's who. Find out about our huge 31-day sale at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1924. rbastl.com or 314-332-1924. Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket.